Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for a live stream. It's been a while since we've done a live stream, and I got Will. Will, hello, sir.
It's been a while, Justin, and I'm happy to be back for a new episode of Figures and Flicks. So I hope the people are really going to enjoy this one. Because what is this episode? How many did we get through? Like 10, 15,
I don't
something
know,
like that?
actually.
So we're on
Maybe, yeah, about
episode,
15.
whatever the next episode is for the people who are the diehard fans, then you guys will know what episode we're on. But
It's a
I'm just kidding.
reunion.
It's not really Figures
You
and
know, like
Flicks.
Friends and Harry Potter. You know how they did the little specials? HBO Max? Yeah. That's
Oh,
like that.
yes. See, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that's what we're on,
go.
dude. But thank you, dude, for having me. Happy to be here. I think there's going to be an exciting new format that you got here. So I'm excited to partake in this one.
I hope so. I mean, we've got a lot of people in chat already. Hello, everyone. I
Ooh.
will address the chat. Don't worry. I'll get to you in just a second. But I want to quickly run through the format. So Will's here this week. We may have more guests next time, or not, depending on what you guys think. It's all up to you because you're the ones watching.
Rate me
Make sure
highly,
that
please.
you
You
get
know,
your
give
fill.
me a good review.
Of course, 5
Yeah.
star. Or
Yeah, 5 stars. Give
however
me a
you
Yelp
feel.
review.
But Trustpilot or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Help Will out.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So basically, how it's going to work is we're going to have either Will or someone else, or Will and someone else. We'll have to wait and see. And we're going to split it up into like 3 main segments. And I won't go through this every time. This is just because it's the first stream back that I'll go through the formats. So we're going to do news at the start because a lot of people said, Justin, what the hell? You're doing your figure preview videos for your hot toys, but you never talk about the third party stuff. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? We're going to do that. We're going to talk about the third party stuff. News segment. As for hot toys, already doing the figure previews. So if you want to know what I think about Ant-Man, just go watch that figure preview. It's all in there. It's ready to go. Beautiful pics from Brian, already done. So we're mostly going to do third party and some official stuff like ThreeZero, etc. in the news. 20 minutes or so at the start of the streams. Then we're going to move on to the 2 main topics. I've called them the Daily Bugle headlines because, a little bit of a comic flair, of course. And you've got my New York shirt going. It's the Daily Bugle.
There you go. There you go. I wore my Loki shirt for the occasion, so,
Perfect. So we're going to link
There we
it
go.
back to the Marvel. So 2 main topics, around 10 minutes discussion each. Will and I will weigh in on those topics. And those topics, by the way, are going to be sent in by y'all. So if you want your main topics featured in the streams, put them in the chat. I'll go through the chat after the stream's finished. We'll pick out 2 main topics for the next stream, and we'll keep going like that. So community voted topics, best way of doing it, because that makes sure that we're actually talking about stuff that you want to hear us talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the best way.
Important.
So put
Yeah,
in
it's
your
kind of
topics,
important. I mean,
please.
and I'm sure you picked some good ones,
Little.
today. So yeah, it should be good. Should be good. As
Well,
long as it's Pop
starting
Toy
off-
Scorpion in there, then we're good.
Of course, it'll always lead back to Pop Toy Scorpion for you
It will
every
be.
time.
Yep, absolutely, bro.
Oh, so 2 main topics, and then after that is the Q&A segment. Ask me anything. You can send in your questions. You can send in. That's when we're doing all the super chats. We're going to do them at the end. So any super chats that are coming in throughout the stream, we'll put them all in the same spot at the end of the stream, and then that way you'll know your question will be answered. Hence Q&A. So that's the plan.
There you go.
But before we begin, Kyle has sent in a super chat for you, Will. So
Wow,
super happy to
thank you.
see Will here.
Can I give myself
Super.
an applause? Thank you.
Oh my god, he's got the soundboard.
I got the
soundboard
applause.
going.
I had the applause queued up for my own entrance, so it's thank you.
Of course.
I mean, it's not very Loki of me if I didn't do that. So your savior is here.
Wow.
Thank you.
Of course. Will is ready to go. So
Yes, I'm ready
without
to
further ado, we may as well start, shall we? Let's start
do
with
it.
the news.
Yes.
Okay, all right. We're going to kick things off with a third-party figure.
Ooh.
It's Premium Toys, The Inversion. Because, it's evil Superman. It's Bizarro from CW's Superman and Lois. Will, have you watched the show, first of all?
Never. Never. I've never seen this. See, so this is like is it an evil Superman or a zombie Superman? What is this exactly?
Look, I'm
Fill
going
me
to be
in,
honest.
Justin.
I've watched the first season.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
See?
I like
Okay.
the show.
So you're one season better
I haven't
than
seen
me. So that's
Bizarro.
fine.
Season 1 is actually quite good, although it's very long. Like, you think that, oh, cool, we've gotten to the ending, and it's like, nah, more episodes. Oh, really? It's like, that felt like the ending.
Okay, that
So,
felt like the end. There. To me, the
Even
end was the
Steph
start.
like, oh, cool. Great
So-
first season. The end was the start.
Yeah.
Until you watch it. You might like it. It's the only show that James Gunn is keeping in the the new DC world that he's built. So, it might be worth watching. Maybe.
Sounds pretty good.
From the Bizarro is literally like an inverted, evil version of Superman. As far as I'm aware, I'm not a huge comics guy, but if Lael was here, he'd be able to fill us in on Bizarro. It's an interesting looking figure, to say the least. But the real one I'm excited about is the next one, which is normal Superman. But I thought we'll get Bizarro out the way first.
Oh,
Still looks like Tyler Hoechlin, iffy on the pronunciation of surname. He was in Teen Wolf, I believe, but he made a really good Superman.
Oh, Teen Wolf. Okay.
Yeah. He's got the scratches. He's got a little necklace. I'll need to watch a show. People in the chat, please fill us in. S-Beam says second season is all right. Not caught up, though. So S-Beam still... It's not one of those shows that you have to sit down and, watch every single episode back to back. You can space it out a little bit. Come back to it. It's still going to be there.
Yeah. That makes sense. Justin, what was the DC show that you had me watch before that I watched like a little... Was it Titans? Is that what it was?
Yeah, Titans. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It reminds me of that a little bit. Like I watched it and I was kind of like, yeah, this is pretty good. And I just forgot and stopped watching it. So like it's one of those that I probably need to get back to. But if this survived the Gunpocalypse, then it must be pretty good. So... I mean, if James Gunn left it on there for a reason, then I would say maybe there's a good reason that this still exists in the DC universe. But as a figure, it looks pretty cool, don't you think? I mean, I think it looks cool.
It's very dark, very evil. Yeah. The proportions are interesting. So Premium Toys is Thunder Toys, and Thunder Toys is Infamous, and Infamous is ThreeZero, and everyone is ThreeZero, basically.
Okay, everyone is ThreeZero, ever.
Just everyone. Premier Toys, Flashpoint, Toys Works. They're all ThreeZero. So this will be rubbery fabric, 100% guaranteed. The articulation probably limited, like the Premium Toys Homelander. Looks like similar body, honestly. So from a technical perspective, I'm not sure what this is going to feel like and how it's going to look for final product, but I'm going to get it because it looks interesting and it's an evil Superman. We don't get a lot of evil Superman.
No. And I like the rip cape a lot. It's like Mando on steroids. Because it's like, because Mando has Justin, have you seen that with the Mando? Everyone gets that figure. They're like, my cape has a rip. Is this normal? They're like, am I supposed to have this? I know. You're like, the Sacho shipped me a broken cape. I was like, no, it's supposed to be there. And now if people get this one, they're going to be like, if people get this one, they're going to be like, what the hell happened? Did someone put out cigarettes on my cape?
Like balls in the
right, exactly. That's basically what it looks like. So, but it looks pretty cool. I honestly think this. What'd you say?
It is wired though.
It's wired.
So, you get a little bit of flowing action.
Oh, so yeah. Well, there you go. You can pose this boy nice. But the base is pretty cool too. I got to say, I like that.
Yeah, they've kept it pretty simple. I like when they use a Hot Toy style base because when you do put it alongside your Hot Toys, keeps it consistent. Everyone's at the same height relatively because when third party give us those ridiculous, weird custom display bases that fit in with nothing, doesn't really suit my vibe. So I prefer them to keep that shape and size, either the hexagon, either the Age of Ultron style with the point at the back, or the rectangle. Please, Premium Toys, just do that. It's the best way. This one, though, I'm actually pretty excited about. The only thing that I don't love is there's something about the neck collar area. It's something, I don't know, there's a bit of funkiness going on up there. Something.
What is it? The neck too long or something? Is that what it is?
I don't know. It may be. Linda says that it does look like someone put cigarettes out on his cape. Linda is an awesome channel member. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, it looks like someone in the factory just is smoking, is popping it.
Yeah, they're like, it's like the personal ashtray. They're just putting it out on the cape. Yeah,
like, more
ThreeZero
cigarettes. Bring them in.
Yeah. That's how you get licensed, right there. That's how you get a license.
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. I do like the material of this cape specifically, though. It looks like that, Hot Toy Jedi robe, that, textured, sort of very soft fabric. Not sure if this one is wired, but the inversion definitely was wired. This head sculpt, though, it's not necessarily at SooSoo Toys and Pop Toys, for Will, Pop Toys level. But there's for those of you who don't know, third-party companies usually outsource their sculpting. And what that means is they will find and hire freelance artists and ThreeZero have been working with a really talented sculptor called Yixie, Yixie. And Yixie actually did the sculpt for Hot Toys Cobb Vanth for them. So he has worked officially with Hot Toys. So that's the quality of the sculpt, but where it kind of falls maybe a little bit short, the paint applications, we'll have to wait and see for in hands. But sculpt-wise, I'm pretty confident. Their Zemo was awesome. It was really, really good. Their Vulture, also done by Yixie, the sculpt itself was really good. But then again, the paint applications, a little bit soft. A little bit.
Yeah. Justin, I wanted to ask, is the suit, because I've not seen the show, like the lines in the suit look a little bit unique. They look different from other Superman I've seen. Is that I'm guessing that's show accurate, right?
These, apparently, if you pixel peep and you compare them like image for image on the show, the panel lines are slightly different on the figure, but only slightly.
Okay.
But they are definitely there. The panel lines are there on the actual suit, but here the chest logo, it needs to be a little bit bigger. It's a touch bigger. And the lines, the arrangement, the placement, like Proxima Midnight. Remember how they did that little update after and they got it to be a little bit more accurate, but still not quite, you know. That
figure, yeah. It was a disappointment, unfortunately.
To say the least.
She was like
Bob
really
Dylan
long.
has put the link to Yixie, by the way, in the
Oh, nice.
chat.
Yeah. Wasn't Proxima Midnight like really long, Justin? She was just like really like uneven.
I'm looking at her now. I mean, those legs just ridiculously long. Like she's supposed to be big, but like all of her is supposed to be big, not just
right, not just long legs and nothing else.
Like we need to make her tall. Are there any really tall female bodies? No. Okay, we'll just make the legs like 5 kilometers.
Yeah, make the legs taller. Yeah, that's what they did. This looks pretty cool, but you're right. Maybe something about the collar. I saw a comment the collar might be too tight or something. Maybe that's what it is. But I still think it looks pretty cool overall. I mean, I not having seen the show, it's hard for me to weigh in too heavily, but I feel like looking at the logo and I'm like, that does need to be bigger. Just looking at it. I was going to say that before you even said that. I haven't even seen the show. But other than that, I mean, the head sculpt looks pretty good. Yeah, something with that picture of the neck really bothers me. The very far left of him standing there. The neck, yeah, like his neck looks too small or something. Like his body looks bigger than his neck. Like he just like has no neck workout or something. Like I don't know. Like it's you know what I mean? Like it's just like he skipped neck day. That's what he did.
He did. It's very skinny. Like usually on a big guy, their necks like flare out towards the bottom to meet with the traps, obviously, for that natural, the natural slope down. That I don't have. And Will, he's working on. So,
yeah, in progress.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of a flare out would have been nice. There's still time for them to make little tweaks and adjustments. But we will definitely be getting this to review because I enjoyed that first season. So this is 100% going on the CW DC TV shelf. So don't have to worry. Brian says, looks like the neck is a thumb. Ooh, that's creepy. That's creepy.
Yeah,
that's creepy.
Ooh, this boy.
Like this guy's a little bit creepy, but in a good way.
Yeah.
The
good kind.
I think. Good kind of creepy. 89 Batman. This is Joker from the museum scene. Dancing with the Prince music. Prince, we'll be talking about Prince later. See? A little segue.
That's a nice little segue. Even though we're not segue, but it's fine.
we will be though.
We will eventually.
It's a pre-segue.
There you go. There you go.
This figure looks insane.
It does.
Insanely good.
It does.
The body, the proportions, the suit. Look at those shoulders. Nicely defined. Double-breasted jacket, of course. Jack. It's got a bit of class. Will, if you were sitting here now and you were trying to decide which 89 Joker to go with, is this look iconic enough for you to be your only 89 Joker? Or do you just say, nah, get the standard one or get the Hot Toys DX if you can find it? Because that boy's pricey.
See, I'm glad you asked this very important question, Justin, because I've only seen Batman 89 one time, and I've not even seen the other ones. So
one time is enough.
Yeah, one time is enough technically. But I will say this looks pretty cool. Doesn't this come with 3 head sculpts? Before I answer the question, it's 3. Isn't
two, I think.
2. Okay, because I know it's like 2 or 3 head sculpts. It's a lot, right? And it looks really great. And from what I remember, the price was really good for this one. Like it's like a very reasonable figure. I'm not getting any Jack Nicholson Joker because I like him but just not enough to buy something like that. But for the people out there who really love 1989 Batman, and trust me, there are many of them, because every time I go on a stream and say, that 89 Batman's okay, like I like it, they're like, kick Will, kick him out now. And I'm just like, okay, well, you know, it is what it is. I'm more of a Heath Ledger and Joaquin guy. I'm a little bit later in the game than just Joker. I like this Jack Nicholson Joker. There were parts watching it today where I'm like, this is a little campy, but it's still a good performance. It's still a really good performance. Nonetheless, if I were going to get one and I didn't have the Hot Toys already, I would probably just pick up this one. I think this is great. I think the head sculpt is bang on. I think the outfit looks great. I think the price is very reasonable. Dude, Justin, I don't know how much you can complain about this figure, bro, because I just think it's like really well done. And for a price and it's filling a void. That's what I like about third party when they do this type of thing, because there's a lot of people who really want this figure, and Hot Toys is not going to remake it anytime soon, or at all probably. So it's one of those where you're like, this is a great third party void here that they're filling, and they've done it really well. So Mars Toys, got to give them credit. I've seen some of their other work, Justin. I've seen some of your reviews. Didn't they do Breaking Bad stuff? Was that them?
Yeah, I have I feel really bad. I have a Heisenberg that I purchased ages ago that I still haven't reviewed from them. It's really good, Walter White, but I have to get around to reviewing that. Okay. Their work is pretty impressive.
Yeah, because they did the Gus Fring too, and I don't think that's released yet. But that one has like a blown up face, and it looks crazy. And I wanted to get that one, but this, it's
you're right. 3 head sculpts.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and they all look great. I mean, honestly, it looks just like it did in the film, from what I remember. I know Leo got, I think, the Mars Toys Joker. I think maybe the face painted one, but this looks pretty dope, bro. It's not going to be for me, but I'm happy for the people. I would pick it up personally if I was a huge fan.
I am very excited. 89 Batman's my jam. We actually just watched it, or rewatched it recently. They had a double feature with 89 Batman and Batman Returns at a local cinema. This is a new cinema. They're doing this retro sort of rewind thing. So they just did 89 Batman. They're doing Rocky now. So we've been a couple of weeks in a row. We saw Rocky 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4, and then next week is 5 and 6. So pretty excited to rewatch them, but in the cinema for the first time. So it kind of reignited my hype for 89 Batman. And the museum scene, I don't know why Hot Toys didn't include a museum scene head sculpt at least, because he wipes off the makeup, and it's a pretty iconic moment. And this outfit we haven't had before by any third-party company or official. It's a new double-breasted jacket, new outfit. You get the beret, which a lot of people were doing customs on the Hot Toys one with the beret, and they were painting the head sculpt. You don't need to here. Relatively good price point. The only issue is Mars Toys, they do take a while to release stuff. And they have a lot on their plate. They've announced the 66 Batman and Robin. They've announced 2 different versions of Joker, Cesar Romero Joker from that show. And they're working on more characters from 66. And they're doing a Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne from 89. So they've got a lot on their plate. I don't know when this will come out, but I think it might be a while. I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later because my hype is real high. But it could be a while. So just bear in mind, if you are pre-ordering this guy, it might take a while to get.
It does happen with those third-party companies, Justin, where they sometimes take a while. Like, you remember, you got the Arthur Morgan. Dude, that figure took a long time. That figure took like almost 3 years to come out. Like, it was, some of these third-party figures take a while. So it's interesting.
Lim Toys as well are pretty slow. SooSoo Toys, third-party companies can either be really quick. Like, one of the advantages of not going with Hot Toys is that you don't have to wait the full 1 to 2 years. But other times, they can be like 5 years.
Right, it can be a really long time. Game Toys is real slow, too. Yeah, they're real slow.
Game Toys is slow. I have a Game Toys figure downstairs I need to review specifically for you, Will. Because, Final Fantasy, it's your jam.
Yes, it's the best.
I'll get onto it. I need to play that, but Steph is playing that new Harry Potter game at the moment, Hogwarts Legacy. So
I heard that's pretty good. Yeah, I heard it's pretty good.
I want to play it, and I want to be an evil Harry Potter student guy.
Can you do that? It's like light side and dark side? Is that how it works?
Yes. I told her, I was like, she was like, oh, you can do these evil like spells and like torture people. I was like, oh, torture people. Evil Harry Potter.
Justin was like, nice. I want to play this.
She was like, I'm not going to do that. I was like, damn, I want to see it.
Return it. It's not worth it then.
God damn. Yeah. But Witcher, on the other hand, this is the second 1/6 scale Witcher, Will. Are you a Witcher guy, by the way? Did you like the show?
See, Justin, I'm glad you asked, because I've only watched about 3 episodes and I gave up. So so many people have told me that I would like The Witcher, and I watched the first 3 episodes and I was like, man, I kind of like The Witcher, but I don't really like The Witcher that much. So I think I needed to give it more of a chance, but I just wasn't in love with it. But I really liked Henry Cavill, and now he's gone. So
Yeah.
no, I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but I would say now
Yeah,
he's
no
gone.
spoil.
Yeah, so he's gone. He's not The Witcher anymore. But I will say this looks pretty great. I mean, SooSoo seems to be doing pretty good with their figures lately. I don't have a SooSoo figure yet, Justin, and everyone says their quality is really good. And then I see some that are really good, and I see some that are not, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to believe with SooSoo. So like Omni Man, you have to dye the cape, like you have to wet the
Yeah,
cape. And
no,
I'm like,
I've got my
why?
Omni
Why?
Man sitting here actually, and he unfortunately he does have some staining on
See,
his what. See, I didn't. I watched the cape and then I touched it and I touched this guy and then it's a bit.
and
So
the
I just
what's it
got
called?
a replacement cape from. I took the Justice League Superman, the Hot Toys one, and I'm going to use that because there's no
Oh,
issues.
well,
with
Justin, too,
stain.
the Kingpin, I've heard, I think Carlos and other people told me about the collar staining yellow.
The
Like,
yellow, yes. Mine's still fine. Like I'm looking at it now and it still looks fine. But some people
mm,
have, depending on your climate, I think,
okay.
the glue. They have, some of them do have their issues 100%. This guy, though, no pleather and
I like that.
no potential for staining, except for maybe the neck, but it's
Yeah,
inside
right.
the shirt anyway. The head sculpt looks just like Henry Cavill. The choice of going with sculpted hair, I think, was the right one, but a lot of people have said they prefer rooted. Um, there's a big gulf though with rooted hair. There's like Hot Toys level rooted hair, which is like Wonder Woman, BBS, etc. And then there's in art. We have not seen SooSoo Toys do this kind of style with the curly sculpted hair ever. We've seen them do it with their Psylocke with the long hair, but that was more Hot Toys style. So if we're gonna go Hot Toys style, stick with sculpted. I think is the right way. It's the right choice. I think.
Yeah. Because I guess,
Personally.
Justin, we don't really know how good they can do rooted hair or not. The so-so. Because Hot Toys,
Correct.
you're right. They don't do it that well. They don't have a great track record. So it's more like Barbie hair, really. That's really more what it's like. But the NR Joker
Frizzy.
hair is great. Yeah, it's great. So
It is great, and it's easy to restyle if you need to. It accepts styling well. It accepts criticism.
except it's one of those good head sculpts like that. Yeah, very fair
It
head
is.
sculpt. Yeah, but
Oh
Justin,
my
I will
God.
say mine. I had to mess with the hair, like I told you a little bit,
Yes.
and basically you told me it worked pretty well. You just take like a little dab of water and just touch it on the back and hold it, and it usually stays pretty well. So
It is pretty easy to work with.
yeah.
As for Witcher, I'm really excited to get the Buzz Toys one and compare it to this one. So that's the season 1 look. This is the season 2 look. I actually prefer the armor from season 1, just my preference. I really did not like season 2 because there was so much less Witcher in The Witcher. Like there was so much less Henry Cavill as Witcher, which is what sold me originally. I was like, okay, Witcher, Henry Cavill, big boy, kicking monsters' ass, dressed in black, 2 swords. That's dope. But then we got so much less of that. There were barely any monster fights. I was like,
Really?
So, yeah, the first season I enjoyed, but I also got a little bit lost in like the politics of like the magical stuff and like this faction and that faction. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, but like way more complicated. I thought, and I don't mean to belittle The Witcher, which the show. A lot of people really like the show, including my wife. But I was sitting there like asking her questions. She's like, "Can you shut up? I just want to watch a show." Oh,
Just leave it to
I just
staff,
don't
bro.
get-
She's got to put you in your place.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
God damn.
Dude, yeah, it looks great though. But I saw a comment. Someone said his girlfriend said the hair looked like a wet mop, and I was like, I do kind of see that a little bit. The hair, I don't know, Justin. I don't know how you could have done it better, short of rooted though. I don't know,
Yeah.
like just with the hairstyle the way it is, it's either going to look like this probably, or it's going to be rooted. So
Yeah.
you don't really have a
Yeah.
good option unless they felt I guess they didn't feel they could do the rooted well, or they would have to charge a lot more and people wouldn't pay it maybe. So
Maybe. I mean, I do get it conforms to his face a lot. Like it comes down and then over the shoulders. I get the wet vibe, but he's a sweaty, gross boy in those times. Didn't have a lot of showers, so maybe he's lacking for a shower.
he didn't. Not a lot of showers in the Witcher universe. Yeah. So
Not a lot of showers. Carlos says, Justin, shave your head. You and Will could be twins. Thank you, Carlos.
yeah,
I'll
there you go.
consider it.
Justin doesn't need to because he's not balding like I was. So it's a little bit different circumstances. So
A little bit.
bald is in though.
Prince.
I will say.
Hello, Prince. Okay. What a segue from 89 Joker all the way back there. We set it up. We delivered. SooSoo Toys again. But with Win C. So they're collaborating. It's a collab. WinC have done Freddie. They have made Bowie. And they made Bob Marley. So now we're on to Prince. Surely Elton is coming. Can you imagine those outfits? Elton goes all out with the outfits. And a piano, a 1/6 scale piano.
That would be pretty dope.
The
movie was great. Did you ever see the movie, Justin? The Elton John movie?
Rocket Man? Yeah.
Yeah, Rocket Man. It was amazing, dude. Or was it a Taron Egerton? He killed it. It was amazing.
And Elton liked it too, because we just went and saw Elton live. He did his final performance in Melbourne. We saw him live, and he had clips of the movie like on the screen behind him as he was singing. So he liked Taron as himself. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So
they need a Prince movie, dude. Maybe one day they'll do it. They
do need a Prince movie. I mean, this figure, I wasn't really on my radar until I saw it. That purple jacket. Damn. It's popping.
It pops. It pops. It's not pleather, right? What is it? Is it like a mesh or something, like a fabric or something? What is it?
It looks like this, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, you know, when you see people with like a raincoat kind of material almost with the sparkles, it kind of looks like that to me.
Yeah, right. Right.
Are you interested in musicians, Will, in 1/6 scale? Michael Jackson, Freddie, Prince.
I am. And you know what? And I hope someone in the chat picks this up, because for me, it has to be the right musician. Because I've seen some really good ones. I think there was a Kurt Cobain. I forget who made it. Was it Blitzway? I think Blitzway made one. And then they made Jimi Hendrix, which I was going to pick up for a while, but then I didn't like how it turned out. There's a lot of musicians I'd be really in. Earth, Wind, and Fire I really love. So, you know, Maurice White or someone in that band I'd be really interested in. The other big one for me would be Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's a huge guitar influence, I guess, for me, that I just love. I love everything about his playing. I think he's the best, personally. So that would be my choice. Prince, I haven't got into his music as much, so maybe I haven't given it as much of a try. And every time I see Prince, I think of Dave Chappelle. So that's like pretty much my experience with Prince. So it's like all I think of is the pancakes and the basketball. So I honestly think SooSoo. I'm not even messing around, Justin. I think SooSoo missed an opportunity here by not including those as accessories. I really think they should have. I think they should have had a plate of pancakes and a basketball. Like, I'm telling you, I think it would have been really cool. So it's unlicensed anyway. Who cares? It's not like they have to get it approved by, you know, the Prince team. But it looks great. It looks like a really good figure. I've heard the sculpt. Most people say it's kind of so-so, for a lack of a better term. I think most people say
there you go.
that it's kind of like, you know, okay. But I think it looks pretty good from what I've seen of Prince.
Yeah, let's see. I'll have a quick look through the chat and see what people are saying. Sator says amazing. Quirce, these names I'm really struggling. I'm sorry. Quircy says SooSoo toy invincible. Are there any updates? No. The update is no. There are no updates. But yeah, a couple of people interested in Prince. I like the hair, how it comes across the front. It's sculpted. There's a decent amount of texture to it, but that base, the stage base, and the fact that they all can connect up to make one big stage, that's pretty awesome. It shows planning and foresight. You know, they want to have all the musicians, like Rob wants to do. He wants to have his team of musicians in the display. He can have a circular display base with all musicians and have it on a rotating platform. That'd be sick. That'd be so cool. Yeah.
That would be dope. Justin, with this base, have they released one yet of the, you know, has SooSoo released a musician figure yet, or is this the first one?
Well, technically it was Win.C by themselves before, but SooSoo, I'm not sure how this collaboration came about, honestly. So this is the first time. So maybe because they got feedback on the head sculpts with Bowie and with Freddie, and people liked them, but they weren't perfect. Maybe that's why they brought SooSoo in this time. But then people are still saying the head sculpt is SooSoo.
There you go. Well, Justin, what I was going to say before we get to this one is that base on Prince. Like, I think it looks really good, but it looks like it would feel cheap but look great. It's one of those bases. You know what I mean?
It's exactly.
That's
like
kind of what it looks like. Yeah, right. Like very plasticky, and you're like, oh, this is going to break. But when you put it up on a display behind like a module space or something, you'd be like, man, that looks really cool. That's kind of what I think it would be. Yeah.
It's exactly. You're spot on. It's kind of hollow plastic, quite thin. It feels exactly like that. Like the base that Bane had, the original Bane. You know how it looked cool, but it was like that thin. Like it was nothing. There was nothing to it.
Yeah, right.
It was just like plastic, little plastic thing. Bob Dylan says a Kiss 4-pack. Now that is interesting.
That'd be cool.
They make for some really cool figures. I mean, the designs, I'd be in.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That would be dope.
SooSoo, WinC, whoever else wants to make musicians. Why not? Why
Yeah.
the frick not? SL Custom. They're what I like to call a stealth achiever. In the background, just working away, making relatively simple figures. Their most recent one, the Bruce Wayne with the beard and the goggles from the start of Zack Snyder's Justice League, incredibly good. That head sculpt was awesome. So they have a lot of goodwill with me, at least. Will, I don't know if you have SL Custom on the radar ever or have ever. Have you?
No, this would be a first.
No.
So who
This
else?
would be a
What
first.
else have they made, Justin? You said the Bruce Wayne, but I was thinking, what was the company that made that Omni Man? That wasn't them, was it? Who was that?
No. That was SSR. These guys have
SSR,
made the Norman Osborn from Spider-Man 1. They've also
Okay.
made the Sandman from Spider-Man 3. I'm struggling to think of more because those are the only ones that I literally currently have in my view. They're sitting right there. But they have made relatively simple suited style figures, and this is right up their alley. They've delivered with the quality of the tailoring on those, and the head sculpts have been quite good. Oh, they did a
Nice.
Bruce Wayne as well from the Batman, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. So Joker J said Loki. Did they make a Loki? Is that right? President
Yes,
Loki?
they did actually. They did President Loki.
Okay. Yeah, I remember
The one
that.
with the
I
big
remember
grin
that.
with the very white teeth. Like
Yeah,
the
I
sculpt is
remember that.
awesome, but the teeth are so white.
Loki uses
I'm
white
looking at him now.
strips.
It's just gleaming in the collection.
Okay. He's more like a Crest advertisement than anything. Yeah, but I think this looks great, Justin. Don't you? I mean, I think the head sculpt is pretty damn good. And the question is, how many people really want this? Because that Venom film was pretty divisive, I guess you could say. I liked it. I know you did too. I don't think it's
liked
great.
it too.
I don't think it's like great cinema. Like, I don't think it's like the best thing I've ever seen, but I gave it an 8. Like, I was like, I enjoyed it. I like Carnage. I like Venom. Like, it was pretty rushed, so be it. But I don't feel like I would need this. I don't know. I think only diehard Carnage fans would probably get this. What do you think?
I think this is a perfect companion piece. And the price point is perfect for that as well. If you're getting, this is how I see it working. If you have Venom and you have an Eddie Brock figure, them's displayed together. Then if you have Carnage on the way, this is perfect for you. You can have Carnage, Venom, Tom Hardy, and Woody Harrelson. You can have them standing together as well. So you got the human forms for both characters and the symbiote forms. That's how I see it working, and that's exactly what I plan to do. I mean, this head sculpt, some people said it's not perfect. And I can see that from certain angles. There's a bit of funkiness going on, but it's definitely Cletus Cassidy. Like, you can tell exactly who this is supposed to be. The hairstyle, that goofy hairstyle that he had after he, went on his spree and he broke out, Shriek out of prison. He looked like this, had this creepy, evil smile. And the tailoring looks simple, but good. That's the best way I can describe this. Not a ton of accessories, hands, necklace, good head sculpt, solid tailoring, decent body. People will be happy because it's not going to be the centerpiece in your Spidey display, I don't think.
No,
I mean, maybe
it's not. But it's a completionist. It's a completionist figure, right? For the diehard Venom 2 fans, which I don't know how many of those there are, but that's probably a small population. But I will say that for those who are out there, and I think, Justin, from what I've seen from your videos too, I think isn't Venom and Spider-Man in general tends to be very popular overseas, right? In Asia. So maybe this is where that figure is more so targeted, more so than us. I don't know. I guess only time will tell. But I think I had seen maybe someone post this, but then I was just like, oh, cool, anyway. And I just kept moving. Like, I was like,
moving.
Yeah,
on.
Right, yeah.
Which is exactly what we're going to do.
Oh, nice Chainsaw Man. I don't know who. I saw Prime 1 announce one of these, but I was like, I've never seen this show. I don't know what it is, but.
I got a funny story about Chainsaw Man because I was the same way. I was sitting there watching the Next Level Showcase 10. I think it was. They did it the most recent one, part 1, not part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching that and I saw the Chainsaw Man. I was like, what the hell is that? So stupid. Let's move on to Batman or something. And then people were popping off about it. People would say, oh, look at this. They were posting in all the statue groups I'm in. I was like, oh, okay. Obviously, there's a following to this anime. There might be something to it. So my little sister was over. I was like, so there's this new anime. She loves anime too. I was like, do you want to watch Chainsaw Man? First of all, that was a mistake because this show is quite sexual. So I didn't know that. So she only watched like the first 2 episodes. I was like, okay, maybe you should go do your homework. And then I kept watching. And the more I watched, the better it got. And I really enjoyed the show. And now I'm 100% getting that Prime 1 statue.
Oh, you really? Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
shocker of the evening.
That is how much I enjoy that show. FBJ says Chainsaw Man is great. Yes, FBJ. It is rated R, though, like he says in the follow-up comment. Yes, it is. There's a lot of blood. Basically, the lowdown for those of you who don't know what Chainsaw Man is, it's a very dark tale. It has to do with the Yakuza in Japan and the hunting of, they call them devils. So everything has its subsequent devil. And depending on how afraid the population is of that thing, so, like, for instance, there's the most powerful devil is the gun devil, because people are fearful of guns. Makes sense. These people who are employed by this specific agency, they hunt those devils. And Denji, this is the main character, Chainsaw Man, I don't want to give too much away, but he merges with a creature, and he becomes part human, part devil. And the devil that he merges with is the Chainsaw Devil. Hence, Chainsaw Man. So when he pulls this little cord, like a chainsaw, pulls a little cord, and the chainsaw comes out of his head, chainsaw comes out of his hands, and maybe chainsaw comes out of his foot. Maybe, if he feels like it. So, it's the lowdown. Maybe I didn't sell it. Maybe I didn't sell it well. But if you
I like the chainsaw out of the foot thing. That sounds pretty cool.
Look at that. That's sick. The only thing that I know you're not going to like, Will.
What's up?
The arms. Look at those joints.
Yeah, they bother me. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to sleep well tonight after seeing this.
Roll the sleeves down, maybe? Yeah, roll up. You can roll them down, maybe.
But I feel like that probably wouldn't be accurate to the show, right? It looks like he has his sleeves rolled up most of the time. Is that right? Yeah, see. Yeah. Dude, if Limb Toys can do Nathan Drake with seamless forearms, then ThreeZero can do it with this.
So good, by the way. I can't wait to talk about that. Hopefully they announce him soon, and then you and I can talk about that, because I'm a huge Uncharted boy. I think it's supposed to be announced maybe sometime next week, I think they said. So, and dude, they're doing Last of Us game figures from part 1, which is going to be in March, they said. So yeah, and Joel's going to have like movable eyes and seamless forearms and stuff. So I know this is about Chainsaw Man, so we'll get back to that. But I will say Last of Us is coming. Yeah. This looks pretty cool though. I mean, this would pop on a shelf, but I really don't like the joints. His skin tone too. It's like very pale. I guess it's like that in the show because it looks very flat. Absolutely.
Yeah,
he's it's hard to describe the arc that he goes on, but he's very scrawny and skinny because he's malnourished. He's living in poverty. He's got no food, and that's his whole thing. He's like, he gets a piece of toast and he's like, I'm going to do everything to protect this life now that I've got these luxuries like this piece of toast. Yeah, it's like that. I'm not exaggerating.
That's a dark world right there. Yeah. Yeah.
It is a very, very dark show. But I'm excited to get this. There is a third party, VTS. They've made their version of Arthur Morgan. They've got a pretty good track record. They're also making a Chainsaw Man, but they've gone more realistic. So more skin texture, proper skin tone. So I'll compare it to the ThreeZero one. These ones, though, it's worth noting, they're officially licensed. They're proper licensed figures. 3 head sculpts. You got one with the tongue sticking out because he's a goofy boy. And the little guy, the little orange guy, his name is Pochita. I love him. He is the Chainsaw Devil himself. He's a little cute little guy. So you're getting some good accessories, but no display bases. I commented when ThreeZero announced these on their post, and I said, please, ThreeZero, please give us display bases. And surprisingly, a lot of people commented on my comment saying, no, we don't want display bases.
Really? Why?
And I was like, I don't know. They were like, no, display bases are tacky. They'll raise the price. I don't have space for bases. And I was like, all of those, okay, but just keep it in the box. Like, they're not going to raise the price. It'll cost 30 cents to make a display. A piece of plastic, it's not going to raise the price. So take that argument out of it. But if it's going to impact space, just don't use it. You can just put it in the box. Better to have it than not.
Justin, I'm a big display base guy personally. I think if you're not using a display base, it is just a matter of time before you have something really bad happen to you, unfortunately. I think I just think it just give it time. If you don't, because the very first hot toy I ever had was Force Awakens Kylo Ren. I was like, you know what? I was collecting Black Series before that. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm just going to set him up. I come back down, his head is off. It's like on the floor.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And luckily my friend fixed it brand new, basically. But it's display bases, they are your best friend. Trust me. Anyway,
Brand
this looks
new.
cool.
That's right.
Devil
This
Girl.
is Power.
Okay.
She's one of my yeah, Devil Girl. She's one of my favorite characters in the show because she is so like the things that she says are just so crazy. I'm really excited for this line. Hopefully they make more because there are more characters that I would love to see, but no exposed joints this time because she's wearing the sweater, cardigan, hoodie thing. So Will's issue with the exposed joints, totally not an issue here. And the weapons, they're actually made out of her own blood. So she's the blood fiend. She's a fiend, the type of human devil combo. She's got a little kitty there. I freaking forget his name, and I can't believe it because he was actually a plot point in the show. Please let me know what the cat's name was. It was Mr. Something. I forget.
Mr.
Hopefully
Kitty
let
Cat.
me know in the chat.
Mr. Yeah,
Mr. Yeah.
Like
Mr. Snuggles or Mr. Something. I forget the name.
Garfield.
I like the translucent blood accessories though. You know, they're
Yeah.
translucent because, like I said, they're supposed to be blood. Let's move on. We're running out of time on the announcement. I've spent way too long, but there was, like I said, there was so much news that we missed out on. We'll pick up the pace.
It's all good.
Cindy Moon, Silk. War Story, Silk. This one was, I never thought I would be interested in the Silk because I don't read Spidey comics. I know I should. But Bob Dylan says, the War Story Silk diorama base is pretty amazing. Oh, we're getting there. Oh, we are getting there because that display base, damn. You'll see. You'll see. Oh, Meowie. That's right, Bob Dylan. The cat's name is Meowie. Thank you. Thank you. And Christian
Is it
says
really?
that Prime
Is it
1
Meowie?
My Hero statue. It is. It is.
Oh my God.
It literally is. Christian says that Prime 1 My Hero statue though. Oh, My Hero Academia is another one of my favorite animes. I will do what I must to fit that in to my statue display. I will. I promise. I will get that. 100%. But anyway, back to Silk. Will, do you know who Silk is? Can you tell me?
Absolutely not. It's funny, Justin, when you originally pulled this up, I read it as Candy Moon Silk. I was like, who's Candy Moon Silk? I was like, what is that? I was like, what a name. That sounds like a username on like PlayStation or Xbox or something. But it honestly looks pretty cool, honestly, bro. Like, it's funny, like 75% of the stuff you've shown so far, I'm going to be like, I don't know who this is, but it looks pretty cool. So I need to obviously expand my horizons clearly. But you guys are right. The base is really cool, bro. The base is really cool.
Wait. You wait. The next picture is the real base. You wait.
Really?
It's a diorama bad boy. Oh, yes. But you get two head sculpts here. One with the fabric mask and one with the sculpted mask. One with long hair and one with shorter hair. So you got options, but I don't know anything about Silk. I love the way this looks. The Venom vibes with the white spider patterns and the red logo. The red mask with the pop of color. Damn. I really like it. I really like it. As soon as I saw this, I was like, I need it.
I like the mask. The mask is really cool. Yeah, I like how that looks. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. So it plugs in.
Daredevil standing in front of this, or the Batman, with that light behind him, that ominous glow. Oh, damn! So many really possibilities with this base. BVS Batman, one leg up on the gargoyle, holding the sniper rifle.
Dude, that's actually, this base is multi-dimensional. You can use it for a lot of different things. Multi-purposeful, I guess. Justin, did you see the comment? Have you ever seen, this is my chair, by the way, Attack on Titan? Did you watch that yet?
Not yet. It is on my list. I do need to watch it. I know. People keep telling me I need to watch it.
It's great.
But you've watched it? Is it good?
Dude, it's extremely good. I liked it enough to buy a $600 chair of it because I really love that show. And I have the Kotobukiya statues. I'm waiting for Prime 1 to do Levi. But dude, that show is very violent, but very good. It's some of it is like kind of, you're like, damn. Like, because it's like these big titans that are almost like zombies and they eat people. They eat humans. That's what they do. So they're trying to fight them off. And it's, dude, just a super good show. It's
I see.
Yeah, you got to watch it.
All right. Well, it's on my list. I will 100% watch Attack on Titan because so many people have told me that I need to watch it. So I will. Yeah. Trust me, I will get to it. Okay, we're almost through our announcements, and then we can get onto our main topics. We've got Premier Toys, Eagle Warrior, aka ThreeZero, Hawkman from Black Adam. You've already discussed this on your channel, Will. Yes. But essentially, give us your lowdown on if this is something that interests you at all or no.
Definitely not. But I did not like Justin. I don't know if we talked about this. Did you like the Black Adam film?
Yes,
Because I really did not.
I did
I
not.
did not. I
I
did not,
liked Black Adam
unfortunately.
himself. I liked
Yes,
Black Adam himself. I liked Aldous Hodge as Hawkman,
me
and I
too.
liked Pierce Brosnan as Doctor Fate. Everything else
Definitely.
just didn't work for me, especially the little kid, which I'm going to get flack for maybe, but I really did not like the little kid.
I
Yeah,
didn't either, unfortunately. I think
it
that
didn't
was a
work for
very
me.
forced plot point. But I will say you're right. Aldous Hodge was great. Pierce Brosnan was great. You know, The Rock was great. Dwayne Johnson. I thought they were all great. It's just the story and how they wrote the characters I wasn't a huge fan of. I will say though, again, Justin, if you are a fan of the film, which there are a lot of Black Adam fans, because the film did
Yeah,
pretty well audience score wise. So fans, they didn't really support it because it didn't make a lot of money, but they seemed to like it. So overall, I mean, sometimes too, people say they like things because like, oh yeah, I like that, you know, but I don't know if they really do. But I will say that overall, this is the only Hawkman you're gonna get. So if you really
yeah.
do want Hawkman, and this is something that's this is a character that's very important to you, maybe because you're a comic, a reader, or you just really love the film, this is the one. The joints bother me, but it is what it is. You know, it's a third party figure, and they're probably not going to make a seamless body for this one because it's probably not popular enough of a character to warrant that type of investment. And you got the wings, so it looks pretty cool. The gold pops
27-inch
though,
wingspan. Damn.
pretty massive. And the price, Justin, was really reasonable. I saw it was like 280 shipped or something for the US. Like that's really
Yep.
reasonable for a figure with giant wings like this. So you can probably find ways to cover the joints, just bend them and pose them a certain way. But I think it looks pretty decent. But it's you know, I think you'd only get this if you just really love Hawkman. Otherwise, it's probably a pass.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to be in the same boat as you will, although I see another reason to collect it potentially.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily just because of the Black Adam movie, but say, for instance, you're trying to build out your cinematic JSA. Like, you got your Martian Manhunter from third party, I forget who made it, probably ThreeZero. And you've got your third party Doctor Fate, and then you're getting Black Adam, and not necessarily because of the movie, but you just want to build out your Justice League. I mean, this is a pretty cool looking figure, except for the exposed elbows. I'm completely with you on that. I would have loved swap out seamless arms. And you don't even have to do like rubbery seamless. You can do a ball joint and have them pre-bent, like Thanos, how he had the articulated ones and he had the pre-bent one. We don't need to go down the rubber route. You absolutely do not. Have straight ones, have bent ones, and then jointed ones. Just a single molded piece
Justin,
of plastic.
why are companies not doing that? Why are they not doing
I
it?
don't know. They're scared. I don't know what they're scared of because it's just more options. It's not like people are going to get mad that you've
Right.
included extra things. It's like you're just throwing in some more options for people who want to have a seamless display option. I said option too many times. But we will have to wait and see how this guy turns out because we've not received the Dr. Fate yet. And that's the first figure technically in their Black Adam line. Will they make the other characters? I certainly hope not, but they probably will. The Deadpool, Atom Smasher. The design was cool, but I really did not like that character.
Mm. Yeah, and Justin, you're right though, because for example, the example I come back to is Gore the God Butcher. Like, why is there not
Yes.
a swappable set, or even Avatar, the Navi, like Neytiri and Jake Sully? Why are there not swappable arms? Like, third party companies are doing that. Why didn't Hot Toys? But anyway,
Yeah, I don't know. One day, Agent Hunt from Mission Impossible SW Toys does not fear who makes Mission Impossible. Paramount? Whoever has the license for Mission Impossible SW Toys, they ain't scared of you.
right?
They don't care. This figure looks like the SL Custom Cletus Cassidy. Simple, but what they have tried to achieve, I think they have. Proportions, tailoring, that head sculpt is Tom Cruise. I see it. Will, do you like Mission Impossible? We've never spoken about Mission Impossible.
No,
ever.
we haven't. I do like
It's
Mission
almost
Impossible.
impossible that we've never spoken.
That's true.
Sorry.
It's because we've never spoken. There you go. See, I will say though, I've seen all the Mission Impossibles. I really like them all. I'm not like a huge super fan of them, but I pretty much go see all of them in theaters. The last one, I think the last one they did was the one with Henry Cavill, right? That one was.
I think that was the best one.
Yeah, that one was really good. They keep getting better and better. It's kind of like Tom Cruise. Honestly, is just like killing it right now. With what he did with Top Gun 2, and then of course with Mission Impossible films, he's really doing some really good stuff. I see Tom Cruise kind of in this, Justin. Maybe I'm not as excited about it as you are, but I think this is like an 8 sculpt. Like I think it's like it's pretty good, but I don't think it's terrible. But I'm not looking at it. I'm like, oh my god, That's amazing,
I
Tom
must
Cruise.
have
I
it.
look at it and I kind of see Tom Cruise. I see him in there.
Okay.
It's good enough if you're a huge Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible fan. I think you'd be happy with this, but it's not like I would be over the moon like, this is a grail, baby. But I guess it just depends. Depends on your Tom Cruise fandom.
Your Tom Cruise hype level. Charlie the Unicorn
Right.
says suit and tailoring is a B. Head sculpt is an A minus. I can see that. The suit,
fair.
it fits the body well, but there is some crinkling and wrinkling. So I understand how you knock it down a little bit for the tailoring. But as for the head sculpt, the angles, some angles good, some angles, like Charlie says, A minus. A minus.
Yeah. You're right.
That
Some
was
angles
our
are.
last figure for the news segment, Will.
Ooh,
I can't
okay.
believe it. We got through.
We did
We
it
got through
finally.
the news for this week.
Oh my God.
Finally. I know.
We did it. Thank God. Only took us 50 minutes.
Thank God. I can't believe it. So we do have some main topics.
Oh,
Sorry, some Daily Bugle headline topics.
There we go.
There we go. So shall we swiftly move on to them? Because I'm conscious of time. I don't want to go too far over time.
I will keep my answers nice and brief. So for the people, I don't want to take up too much of their time.
Okay. All right. So our first Daily Bugle headline topic ever for the first live stream of 2023 is, how do I get started collecting Hot Toys? It's a classic. I get asked this question all the time. Justin, I've been watching your videos. I don't have any Hot Toys figures. Where the hell do I start? Do I go straight and pre-order everything? Or do I start with one and then go from there? Will, I'm going to hand it over to you, and then we will address the chat as well. I did, at the start of the stream, I did say I'll address the chat, and I absolutely will. As we keep going, I'll bring up a couple of points that the audience is making as well. But don't forget, these headline topics are your topics. So if you have a headline topic for next stream, please leave it in the chat, and we will definitely get back to it. Will,
yes.
How do you get started collecting Hot Toys? How did you, first of all, your own personal journey as well?
Yep. This is a really good question, Justin, and probably one that gets asked quite a bit. The first thing I got to say, love the use of an emoji there, because I just noticed now that you have that, a little person raising their hand, really clever and creative. Really like that a lot. So with starting out with Hot Toys, it's a really interesting, everyone's going to have their own unique journey, I feel like. But for me, it's funny because I've heard a lot of people say the same thing. My first figure was the Force Awakens Kylo Ren. And you know why? Because it was very cheap, because everyone was selling it at a discount. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get this figure, because you know how much I love Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's my dude. Like, I have a cosplay of Kylo Ren, a statue of Kylo Ren, 2 helmets of Kylo Ren. Like, he's one of my top, like, 2 or 3, 4 favorite characters. I love Kylo. I'm a Kylo dude. So for me, if I were just getting started with Hot Toys, I would try to find one of your beloved characters, as we like to call them, tier 1 characters, tier characters that you just cannot live without, and then try to explore the territory. Get that character, see how you feel, and then go from there. But I can guarantee you, because everyone always does, once you get that first one, it's like a potato chip. You don't just eat one potato chip. You're going to need a whole bag of potato chips.
A whole bag.
And that's what's going to happen. The one thing, Justin, I would say, when you're starting out, you figure out, for one, you pinpoint what characters are most important to you. That's what I would do. That's what I do now. I think it's really helpful, especially if you're, because we're all pretty much limited on space, we're limited on budget, all that good stuff. So you got to pinpoint the important characters, set your budget, and then also, in my opinion, really think long and hard about, how you're going to do this, because I think this is one that you really got to go in with a little bit of thought, because otherwise it can become overwhelming and stressful when you have so many options and you just want to give up. So to me, pinpoint the one character that you want to go for, get that one, see how you feel, and then build the display upon that. Also, Justin, there's a lot to think about here. You got to think about how you're going to display these. So when you're starting out, collecting Hot Toys, you got to think of, like, I personally would probably start with D-Tops, personally, insteed of just jumping into like a Module case. Get like one D-Top or something like that. Yeah, to get one D-Top, like it's like $100 now, $120. Get that, and they've like doubled in price, unfortunately. But you can get one and get started there. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I would say that overall, you got to figure out which characters are most important to you, and then sort of build your display based on that. Don't fall for the hype. There can be any number of FOMO things out there, and I think people need to be cautious and selective, especially when you're starting out. So that's what I would say. Pinpoint the characters, plan out your display, set your monthly and yearly budget, and be responsible. That's what I would say, because it's easy to get over your head. And when you get it over your head, you feel very stressed, and then you're not going to want to collect anymore.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean,
anyway,
Will pretty much, he said it all, Will. You went from the start.
I'm sorry, I took all the answers.
Budgeting. No, absolutely not. That's great. A lot of advice for people who want to, start off collecting hot toys. But I would say if you're sitting here and you've watched a lot of YouTube videos and you're like, oh, yeah, that stuff is really cool, but you've never experienced what a high end figure is like, don't just jump straight in. Start with one. Always, people have said, Justin, which character should I start with? I can't tell you which character to start with. You need to pick your favorite character from your favorite movie, something that means a lot to you, because chances are you're going to be spending a pretty penny. And not just on the figure itself, but somewhere to display it. Like we discussed, you need detail, some module case or something, custom shelving. You need somewhere to put it. Chances are that for the first one, and you go and put together a display solution, it might even cost as much as the figure itself after you get to lighting and dust proofing. It might cost as much as that figure. So before you jump in, start with one, go from there. You don't want to go all the way down the rabbit hole just yet. If you find that that first one works for you, then you can start that ball rolling. And always go with characters and film properties that you love. Don't just go down and follow that hype train, which I'm guilty of doing. But later on, you will find that if you're running out of space, the characters that you've picked up just because everyone else is picking up, those will probably be the first ones you sell or trade.
And just to be fair, you're a reviewer, so you review a lot of figures. So
that is true.
It's different. Like if you were just not reviewing and collecting like a normal collector, they'd be different. So
I absolutely would not be getting everything like 3 third-party Riddlers, for example.
Right. It's different.
I would just wait and I would pick up the best one, which is exactly what I was going to say next is check reviews, and not just mine. Check out Will's reviews. Check out other people's reviews. Cross-reference. Don't just stick with one YouTuber like me. Make sure that what you're seeing, different lighting conditions, different display options, people show them in their display. Make sure that that works for you. So say, for instance, you have a need for a Riddler and you have a certain figure that you want to pair it with. I may not show you that pairing, but someone else will. So look around, watch a couple of different reviews, get a feel of where it can be displayed, who it can go with, and then you can decide if that's something you want to pick up. And the last point, let's just say before I move on to the next headline topic, is you want to make sure that if you are going down a line, that is a line that could potentially work with other lines in your display. What do I mean by that? Well, say for instance, you've got multiple shelves of Avengers. You've got Avengers 1, Avengers 2, Infinity War, Endgame, and then you're thinking, ooh, maybe I want to do Game of Thrones as well. A full line of Game of Thrones. And your entire collection is Marvel. Unless you're going to have it displayed in a little bit of a different area, it's not going to blend well. If you want a cohesive collection that all works together, when someone comes in the room and they're like, wow, look at all this Marvel stuff, and one random shelf of Game of Thrones? What's going on there? So you don't want to overwhelm other lines if you're already too far down the rabbit hole of one line, if that makes sense. It can work, and I've seen it work. But that's just my advice. If you're already in one, like some people said, I'm only a DC collector. But then they see one Marvel hot toy, but I really like that Ant-Man. Where's it going to go? Where are you going to put that? If you only collect DC, you can't just have one random Ant-Man by himself, or just Ant-Man and the Wasp. So factor in your entire collecting journey so far, where that's led you, and then decide if that's something you want to jump in on. Because like I said before, those are probably going to be the first ones you sell. If you come in the room one day and you're like, damn, really need space. Look at all these DC figures and one random Ant-Man. One random Ant-Man.
That Ant-Man's got to go.
It's got to go. It's 100% got to go. But Will, back to you.
Yeah.
Do you have any other points on where to start with which character? Say you like a lot of different characters. Yeah. How do you decide order of importance? Because I know you've got a method for this.
Yeah.
Order of importance of those characters, of which one you start with before you go down onto the other tiered characters. A little bit of a segue for you.
Yeah, see, that is a really good one. And I do want to give credit to this one. Like, again, Mr. Carlos, A Place for Collecting, came up with the tier-based collecting system. Got to give him credit. So shout out to him.
Who's watching,
I
by
just
the way? Hey, Carl.
Yeah, and I just presented it. I just presented his ideas, and he was on there with me. But I use this philosophy, and it works very, very well. So, I basically, Justin, to answer the question, I think you really have to go through and mark. Honestly, there's tier 1 through really 6, but tier 1 is like the essentials, bro. Those are the ones that, like, for me, it's obviously Loki, right? It's Loki, it's Kylo Ren, it's Joel and Ellie, right? It's those type of characters. Like, I think personally, that's how you do it. To me, I'm maybe a little bit different than you and Justin. Is like, it's great to complete a line and go down that route. But to me, you know what I want to complete? I want to complete my beloved character list. That's what I care about more often than not. Instead of having maybe like a full line. Like, if I have that, I wouldn't have that Ant-Man. But if I had that one Ant-Man, it wouldn't be quite the end of the world to me. But I do understand where a lot of people would probably be like, man, he doesn't really fit in. I'm going to sell him. So to answer the question, I would say that you really have to go through, pick out your favorite characters, and start ranking them, basically. Start ranking them, and it's going to be a lot tougher than you think it is. Because you're going to sit down, when you start comparing, for example, like that Scorpion, Pop Toys, right? You start to compare Scorpion
you knew it would come in somehow.
I would kind of fit him in somewhere. I was going to say Sub-Zero, but he doesn't exist yet. So, but I would say Pop Toy Scorpion, right? Then you have to rank him compared to, like, say, someone like Iron Man. And if you're a big Mortal Kombat fan and you love the movie and then you love Iron Man, that's tough because they're very different characters. But sometimes you got to make tough decisions. And that's why the ranking things really help. So to me, that is going to give you your answer. Start ranking them and you go through in that way. And I think as long as the figure isn't terrible, then you should go after, because the figure has to be good still. The characters are more important to me than anything else. Like, I want the characters that I love, but the figure also has to be good. So it's a mutually, like they go up together. So I would say pick the characters that you love, rank them out on an Excel document. I use Google Sheets, rank them out. We even have a video on my channel if you guys want to check that out. But we give you a free Excel doc that you can use and you can rank things that's already set up for you. So I don't know about Justin. What do you do? Because to me, I have to rank them and it's super helpful. Because then I look at a figure and I'm like, damn, I want that Spider-Verse Miles Morales, but then I rank him and I'm like, holy shit, but he's tier 3. He's not going to make it, right? So like, and that's why it helps. So.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Will. I can't really talk about 1/6 in this way because I get them all for review purposes, but I don't do that for statues. So I collect statues in a completely different way than I do figures because I don't review necessarily all the statues that I get because reviewing statues is kind of tricky. But before I get to how I do it, Charlie the Unicorn says, random figures go on the work desk. It's a conversation starter. And I totally agree. I've got Jake Sully sitting on my desk, and I've got the 2 Clone Wars sideshow figures because they cannot go anywhere else. I don't have any other animated style Clone Wars figures yet, and Jake Sully is too big to fit in the detail, the Moji cases. He's way too tall, and he would tower over everyone. He would make everyone else look like they're 1/12 scale. So the random figures, those are my 3 random figures that I currently have on the desk. Not a bad idea. If you have that one character that's super important to you, that's maybe not going to blend well with the collection, but you must have it, there are other ways to work around that. Don't have to put them in the display. Put them on your desk as a conversation starter. It's a great idea. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah. The way I do statues, I started out with the line thing. I was like, bloody beautiful. All right, we're doing statues. We're going to do the full Arkham line from Prime 1. And I did. I even had the XE suit Batman. I had Mr. Freeze. Stupid idea. Because some of those statues, I realized when I started to put the line together, damn, I don't have space for these. And if I want other statues from other properties that I love, where the hell are they going to go if all of the space is given to Arkham? I'm a huge Arkham fan, but some of the bigger pieces like Mr. Freeze and XE Suit, they were taking up the same amount of space for like 2 statues from another property that I really love. And if Arkham was already represented by Batman and Robin and Nightwing and Batgirl and Mr. Freeze and Two-Face and whatever, I didn't really need some of those bigger pieces. Like Killer Croc was enormous in 1/3 scale. Absolutely gigantic. So I had to kind of evolve my collecting after I started to do lines, and then I realized, oh, damn, I ain't going to be able to do this. I can't. I don't have the space. So I sold off Mr. Freeze. It was really hard, a tough decision. I sold off Mr. Freeze, XE Suit, Batman, and Killer Croc, the 3 biggest pieces, and I kept the rest of the Arkham line for now, we'll see what happens. But I did that so that I can focus on collecting, just like Will just said, his favorite, the characters that mean the most to him. So I've now started to do that with my statues, just pairs of characters that have an importance to me in some way, whether I watched it as a kid or there's nostalgia or who introduced me to the film and the experience of seeing it for the first time. So that's how I'm now doing my statues. Just recently, I got PCS Rocky and Ivan Drago. Will has still not watched Rocky. He says he will,
I know. I need to. You told me that you gave me homework. I got to watch it.
He'll watch it. But I just got PCS Rocky and Ivan Drago. They mean a lot to me. I remember back when I was a young lad, I saw Rocky for the first time. My mum introduced me to Rocky. She was a huge Stallone fan. She loves Sylvester Stallone. And she introduced me to Rocky, and we watched them together countless times. Unfortunately, in 2019, my mum passed away, so that's a sentimental reason. So it means a lot to me. It's that memory of seeing that film with my mum, and now when I walk into the collection room, that's what I get. And you can't really put a price on that. And I think that's the most important thing when collecting Hot Toys or statues. Make sure they mean something to you, because every time you look at it, that thing you will remember. Whether it's where you watched that film for the first time, who you were with, who introduced it to you. It's more than just the character or figure. I know we're getting a little bit philosophical here, but
no,
sometimes we need to.
That's how I am, Justin. That's why, I love these Final Fantasy figures so much, because I played the Final Fantasy remake that came out a couple years ago, and I loved it. But a big part of that, why I love these figures, is because nostalgia. Because I didn't play the games growing up, but my brother was a huge fan. So we spent a lot of time together. I used to watch him play it, basically. I was really young at the time. So that's part of why I have a connection to these characters too. Not just because I love the remake and that version, but I also have a connection to them because of that, and I'm fond of those memories. So that's, I think those are the things we should be shooting for. Dude, anytime you ask Justin, any collector, like, why do you collect? Everyone says nostalgia. It's almost the most standard, typical answer you could give. Like, it's always like, nostalgia is why I collect. Yeah, it is. It is, honestly. It's very
nostalgia.
True. Yeah, that's pretty much like, and sometimes too, people are like, well, it's nostalgia. They don't even know what else to say. Like, it's nostalgia, because this is the most commonly accepted answer, But I would say that that's why we do it. And statues, dude, statues are a very different game, because you have to consider the money, you have to consider the time that you spend if you want to sell it to box it back up, and the loss you're probably going to take, and and everything, and the space. Like, they're big boys. Like, this Sauron is basically a half scale. Like, I mean, he's he's 45 inches tall almost. So so that's the kind of stuff you got to factor in. So you got to love the character. Don't just you cannot really be like a dog chasing cars for statues. It's not going to end well.
I tried, and it didn't work. Financially wise, I was just spending way too much than I should on statues, and space wise, it just wasn't working. Jay Terry, by the way, asks, his channel member. Thank you so much, Jay Terry. Justin, are you getting Clubber Lang? Oh, you bet your ass I'm getting Clubber Lang. I've made space. I told Will I sent him videos. I was rearranging my statue room so I could have space for more. And I've now planned it out. I got my measuring tape out. I literally did this. I got my measuring tape out, and I measured, okay, this is for J&D Bale Batman. This is going to be for Apollo Creed from Rocky. And I do have space for Clubber Lang and the future Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 statues. So that's going to be, I'm not doing all of them, skipping Rocky 2. I really wish I wasn't, but I just don't have space. And something's got to give. I'd rather have the iconic, at least to me, my favorite Rocky films represented. So that's what I've done. I had to just say, no, Justin, you can't do Rocky 2, which is, it hurts me because I like Rocky 2. But, it is what it is. I can't wait for Will to watch these movies.
I know. I'm gonna watch. Justin, you got to leave room for Prime 1 Thor from God of War. You got to remember that.
Oh, I do. Or Atreus, because the company that I got I still need to review that custom Kratos statue that I have. Kratos, people can criticize.
You could say either way. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I try my best. Yeah, the Atreus that the company is making, I'm really excited to get that. Although, Will, I have a quarter scale Kratos by that company. They're making the same statue, but in third scale. And I'm like, dang.
Third scale is your jam. I'm more of a quarter scale guy. I'm a quarter scale boy. So, and I have half scale and quarter scale. That's what I like. I used to have third scale and I liked it a lot, but I ended up selling them. So for space reasons. So
fair.
Yeah.
To put a nail in this topic for this headline, how do I get started collecting Hot Toys? Pick the characters that you love. Pick the display setup that works for you, space-wise, financially wise, and start with one. Always start with one, that iconic character that means the most to you, and then you can go from there. Plus, always make sure that you're watching videos, not just mine. I know I sound like I'm like promoting myself. No, watch other people's videos as well, so you get multiple different perspectives, multiple different angles, viewing options, display options, and that will hopefully help you decide how and if you should start collecting. Okay.
There you go.
Now, second, that was a pretty good mainline topic. I like that one.
Yeah, I think we did
like
good.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's move on.
Great job with the
Let's
topic.
move on.
That was a really good question.
Thank you. That was not even, an audience topic. When you all give us a topic, I reckon it's going to be even better. So, our second headline, Daily Bugle headline topic, can you mix figure scales without it looking weird? Because a lot of people, they like a lot of things, me included. I like my quarter scale figures. I like my 1/6 figures. Even my 6-inch figures. Mafex, Figuarts. But the question is, can you display them together and it work well? That, hopefully, is something that we can get to the bottom of. Because I have always been wondering this as well. So I'm going to need your help in the audience as well. And Will's going to help me out on this. But I have pictures this time. So I have pictures of different examples from the community, from Reddit, and from Facebook. Whoever took these pictures, thank you. If you are here, let us know. But these are pictures from the community of people's display options with different scales. So while we're talking about the topic, we'll cycle through the pictures because I don't see this very often, but the people that do it, they love it. So, Will, straight up, the question, can you mix figure scales? Do you, on statues as well, quarter scale with third scale, with half scale, with life size? Is mixing scales possible? Does it work? Can it ever work?
That's a really good question. I say yes. And the reason for that is because like the topic we just talked about, I think, Justin, is a really good segue to lead into this one. Because I think at the end of the day, and I've said this before, I hate passing up on amazing pieces for amazing characters that I love just because it's not quite in the scale that I'm looking for it in. Like, that's something that I really don't like, because you're passing on something amazing that you could love, that you could have in your collection, that it maybe just you have a lot of third scale and this is quarter scale. And you're like, oh, but it's quarter scale. It's just, but still, like, it's, if it's a character that you truly love and you really want to spend the money on, don't just buy it because it looks cool. That's just not how I believe. I mean, everyone can collect their own way. It's just not how I do it and how I believe it should be done. Like, I believe that you should really love the character and have a connection to it. So yeah, I think absolutely you can. I think you got to be a little creative sometimes in how you display it. Because if they're all, say you have a lot of 6 scale and then you have 1 quarter scale Mando and it's in the line with the rest of the 6 scale figures, it can look a little bit odd if you're not doing it correctly. But I think this one works out really effectively, actually, because of the base, because the base already props this guy up to make him that much bigger anyway. So when he's on that base and he's already a much bigger figure, it looks pretty normal. So to me, I think you can definitely do it. I think I would try to mix, not mix them in like one line together. But if you have to, it's really not the end of the world. You can find a creative way to do it. Like with this, for example, one thing you could do is you could put the smaller Mando maybe in a more dynamic pose and put the bigger Mando in a more static museum character-like pose. I think that's one way you could do it. If you have them in the same exact pose, it might look a little odd. But if you get creative and mix up the posing and have each one look a little bit different, you could be like, oh, that's pretty cool. You're obviously a big Mando fan. Someone to come to your collection and be like, that's pretty cool. And someone might ask, why is there 2 of them? Why do you have 2? And they might do that. But I think at the end of the day, like, don't pass on pieces you love just because it's not exactly in alignment with the other scales that you have. You can statues, Hot Toys, whatever. Hot Toys doesn't make a lot of quarter scale figures anyway. There is that quarter scale Kingpin, the third party one. He's not really quarter scale. He might as well. Oh
my God. So, I completely forgot. I still have that in storage somewhere.
He's probably taking up a huge amount of space.
He does take up a huge amount of space.
He might as well be quarter scale. But I would say, Justin, like to wrap it up, I'll shut up after this. I'll just say, don't pass on really, really amazing pieces for amazing characters to you just because it's not quite the right scale. Find a way to make it work. That's what I would say.
I like that. And I personally have been struggling with this, and I'll touch on why after I get through my thoughts on the whole thing. But by the way, this picture is from OT Customs, and OT Customs does awesome head sculpts for Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Check out my YouTube shorts if you haven't. Anyway, I think pose depending and display depending, it can absolutely work. Absolutely. But just as easily, it can throw off the entire thing. So the best way that I have found that it can work is think of a movie poster. Movie poster, main character, always the biggest. Does that look weird? No. You've got the main character up front, and then as it goes down, the tier-based collecting, like Will says, lower tiered characters, they get smaller and smaller, and then you got the logo. So you can absolutely recreate that in your display. If you want to have a Mando display with a big Mando in a sick dynamic pose in the background, and then you work your way down, you got Heavy Mando, so he's still big but slightly smaller. You got IG-11, you've got Dark Troopers, then you've got down to smaller characters. Right down the bottom, you got Queel and you got the Jawas. That would look sick. That would be a beautiful movie poster style display. I mean, the banner in the background there, you can see Mando's helmet is huge, and in the background, a couple of smaller Mandos. You can absolutely do that. Quarter scale Mando as a centerpiece, work down from there. And like Will said, that big display base, I mean, that pretty much does all the heavy lifting for you. It gives you a little bit of a vignette of the show. You've got destroyed IG-11, you've got a couple of Mando helmets, you've got the E-Web cannon. It sets that scene, it tells a story, and then you can tell the rest of that story with characters in different scales surrounding your quarter scale Mando. That, I think, is the best example that I've ever seen of it working. Now, I'm going to go to the chat because we've got some people saying, Linda, for example, says, yes, if it's the same character, it's fine. So Linda thinks that you need to have different size and scale of the same character. I can see that working, and we'll get to an example in the pictures that I have. That could work. Wade says, 1-to-1 gets a pass. Quarter scale maybe won't work as well. Super meh, he says. So I was trying to put it nicely. But Louis says, doesn't work. 1/6 scale compared to quarter scale looks, it's overshadowed. I can see that. But it all depends on your display. All depends on your display. Linda also says, I've been so torn about getting the quarter scale Mando. If the character means a lot to you, Linda, get the boy. Charlie says, quarter scale Mando is a must. Luis, quarter scale Ant-Man. Now, see, that would work as a giant man. So that would be sick. I could absolutely imagine your endgame display with Ant-Man in the background. You know how they had that battle and they were walking across. That would be awesome. That would be really cool. Buddy says, I like them in tiered levels. This is how Buddy does it. We have a quarter scale Spider-Man on top with the 1/6 scale Spider-Man in the middle. So poster style, and then 1/12 scale at the bottom. And then other small Spider-Man props around them. So pretty much like we were discussing, that refined display, it tells a story as it leads your eye up towards the bigger piece. Perfect way of doing it, I think. This is another interesting one. Ooh. You haven't gone with quarter scale Mando and smaller. I love that pose, by the way. Dang,
yeah, I do too. That's great.
It's a classy pose. I'm going to copy that pose, I think.
That's
next
amazing.
To the 1-to-1 scale helmet. So instead of the quarter scale looking small compared to looking big compared to the 1/6 scale, it's now the other way. The quarter scale looks small compared to the life size. But I mean, this could work, I think.
I think this can totally work, Justin, because I've done it as an example. I know you have too. With Kylo Ren helmets, I've done it. I've had my Kylo Ren 1/6 scale figure displayed next to my Anovos and now Denuo Novo Kylo Ren helmets. I've done that before, and I think it can work really, really well. And I think it works beautifully here. Justin, is this has got to be EFX or Anovos, right? It's one of the two, probably.
I've owned the Anovos one, and this looks like the EFX one to me. The paint looks quite different. It could then again be a custom because the luster on this is gorgeous. It looks like the proper paint. They used a paint called Luster to paint the helmets for Mando. That paint's really expensive, but the shine is unparalleled. Like, this is nearing chrome Mando levels of shine.
Yeah.
Which does kind of show up the quarter scale Mando because they went with the metallic gray. I don't know why they didn't go with chrome because they were already doing it.
Right. Well, I would say, Justin, that, with this quarter scale figure, for those who are, I think it was Linda or someone else was mentioning they're interested in it, a lot of places keep discounting this thing further and further. So I think if you want to pick this boy up, I think you can get him for a pretty reasonable price. But I will say, to answer the question, I think life-size props with figures work tremendously. That works honestly even better than figures of different scales, I think. Because I just think it's like a nice, I don't know, well-rounded sort of immersive display. Because you have the one life-size helmet and you're like, oh, that's dope. And then you have the figure showing the rest of the armor and, everything else involved with the figure, with the character. I think it's really great, bro. I think you could totally, with life-size props, I don't even think it's a question. That's a much easier task, I feel like, to achieve.
For sure. Because I'm all about when I'm putting together a display. I know I don't do it perfectly. I'm still trying to execute my displays. The vision that I have in my head is not quite fulfilled. Telling a story is important. And having the helmet displayed alongside Mando, I think it works super well for that. It has Mando giving us, like you said, the full look of the armor and the pose. You got a little Grogu there. And then the helmet puts you right back in the show. It tells that story. Your favorite episode, the theme song starts playing in your head. That's what you want. That's what you want. Wade Wilson says, I'd say pass on the big figures. As hard as that is, save your money for something that you actually want. Well, totally get that. Definitely good advice. But if a quarter scale, it works vice versa. Right. If a quarter scale figure that's the character that you like, Spider-Man, tech suit Spider-Man, say that is your number one favorite Spider-Man suit of all time. And you're sitting here thinking, damn, I've only got 1/6 scale. Can I pull off a quarter scale Spidey? Well, maybe. If you do it the right way. But just as easily, it can look a little bit interesting. This is a perfect example of quarter scale figures working really well together. So if you are going down the quarter scale line, there's not that many, first of all. So no, lucky you don't have to go too far down the rabbit hole. But there might be more in the future. There's Boba Fett coming from Book of Boba Fett on the sick diorama base.
That's true.
You're going to have more in the future. This is another example of that display of having multiple different scales together. But instead of putting the quarter scale up the back, because you got Hulkbuster at the back, they've got quarter scale Spidey at the front. This, to me, don't mean any offense to the collector who put this together. This, to me, doesn't work so well. This is not how I would arrange it. But if this works for you, then absolutely go for it. But this is just an example of where it looks a little bit funky, because you've got 1/6 scale Spidey on the same level as quarter scale. So I would say if that Spidey was up the back and he was on his big vulture base, I reckon that would work a lot better with the other Spideys around. Maybe even a quarter scale Iron Man, potentially.
No, I think you have to go smaller to bigger. So you organize it in a way where, because I think it would be more pleasing to the eye, like you said, if you have the smaller figures lead up the ramp up into like where the Iron Man are, honestly, have that Spider-Man. And with the Batman here, I'd probably do something similar. I'd probably I don't know if it's possible. He's probably too big to fit on that shelf back there, but something like that where you have the 6 scale in front and the big Batman in back. So that's
the big boy, the big boy Batman,
the big boy Batman, triple B.
It does. This is an interesting one as well. I not something that I probably would do in my collection, but having the main character, the tier 1 character, be the biggest, and then having the villains around him. Okay, I'm starting to see something coming together. Once again, it tells that story. You've got Batman, you've got the main villains from each of the films. This is a pretty interesting display. Folks, please weigh in. What do you think of doing it this way? Because basically what I'm starting to see is the answer to that question is yes, you can. You can mix display scales in the same display. I am struggling with this issue currently. I hate to keep bringing things back to Rocky, but I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. I've got my 3rd scale Rocky and Ivan Drago, but Blitzway, K.A. Kim, they made an incredible Rocky statue with his dog. And it's an iconic, it's a grail. But it's quarter scale. Whereas my other statues, they're 3rd scale. So I am personally right now struggling. That's why this topic is here. I am personally right now struggling with this very issue. Can I mix scales, quarter scale alongside a 3rd scale without it looking weird? And I don't know if I can, because I've seen them together and the quarter scale does look significantly smaller. But maybe Will and the chat can help me out with this. What do you think? Can you mix, not just for figures, but also with statues? Can you mix quarter scale with 3rd scale and half scale and 1/5 and whatever else?
I think you can. I think like you guys were talking, like people in the chat were talking about, if you're going to have the same character, I would think try to have them, like I said, on different levels where you have sort of the quarter scale. Because if you have the quarter scale right next to the third scale and it's on the same eye level and the bases are relatively somewhat similar, obviously they're a little bit bigger, but I would say that it might look a little bit off. Or maybe if you'd have one part of the Rocky statue like in another part of your display and then the other third scale Rocky statues are somewhere else. I think you could separate them and do them that way. And then that way you're not missing out on a piece. This is space dependent, obviously, and it's going to be different for every collector. But I think it's going to be more pleasing to the eye if you have different levels or you separate them. Because if you have, like I said, like a bunch of third scale Rockies in a line, and at the end of the line you have a quarter scale Rocky, it's going to maybe look a little bit like you could probably maybe still pull it. And honestly, at the end of the day, who cares? Like if you like it, that's all that matters. But I think that, if you can make it a little more pleasing to the eye for people who come into your collection and just make you feel more proud of your collection, separate the levels and maybe separate the statues just to give the eye a little bit of room to readjust.
I have an idea for how it could work, and I have not. I might Photoshop this out and see if I can do it. But it involves one of our least favorite companies. I'm sorry to say this, Star Race. So Star Race is making another quarter scale Rocky statue, but it's a different look to the Blitzway one. So I'm thinking, okay, what if I bookend the third scales with the 2 quarter scales? I've got smaller, bigger, smaller. So it's a natural curve down. So it's smallest on the outside and biggest in the middle. That could possibly work. It all depends on the Star Race statue being good. So we will have to wait and see. But
that's a big if, bro. It's a big.
It is a big.
I feel a little bit bad for them though, Justin, because they get a lot of shit. I mean, honestly, and I feel bad because they are trying, and it's like I hate to crap on someone's work like that, but it's just not. It's not up to industry standard. It's not.
They have a new head of prototyping and I think art direction, Waruna. And he does amazing head sculpts. He's just been hired. I think his first project that in his new official job title is their Rocky 2 1/6 scale figure.
Nice.
And he said that now that he has been hired, he has laser focus on delivering quality. So there is potential hope because they have a lot of good licenses. Not going to lie. They have some good licenses. But they do need to deliver. Valiant Archer, by the way, says this display with Batman in the middle totally works. Linda says there are no rules. There are no rules. Arrange them how you like, especially if you are the only one seeing it. The collector police won't come and take your collection away.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of. They might. Kamikaze says, I think if you have like your primary, the pose in the biggest scale, like this Batman, then quarter scale around them, that could totally work in, less must-have main pose sort of thing. Yep, that could work as well. Charlie says, put the quarter scales up behind the third scales. Oh, okay. So like kind of what they've done here. Bigger at the front, smaller in the back, which leads the eye down rather than leading the eye up. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have the depth to do that, unfortunately. My statue display is not that deep. You will see I will do a statue room tour, I promise. I really need to do that now that I've rejigged everything. I've moved everything around, got a few new pieces in, and Will maybe can react to it if he feels like it.
Oh, dude, I would love to, Justin. I always love reacting to collection tours, bro. It's amazing. And you remember, like you said, you flexed on us because you showed that YouTube subscriber button immediately. Yeah. And I was like, nice subtle flex, bro. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, you got to show it off. Yeah, maybe one day I'll get the next one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
1 million. Did they give you one for 1 million? Is that what it is?
1 million. Yeah.
Nice.
1 million.
It's going to happen.
A gold one. Maybe one
gold.
Day, but it's gold one, not real gold, just Canadian gold.
It's chrome gold.
It is chrome gold. It is chrome gold. But it's all thanks to all of y'all, obviously, for subscribing and watching. So thank you to all of you for getting me there and for hopefully getting me to the next milestone. I'm doing it because y'all and I and Will and everyone else, we enjoy collecting. That's like the bottom line. That's the main reason. So the answer at the end of the day is yes. But there are both wrong ways and right ways of getting it done. At the end of the day, though, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't work for other people as long as it works for you. If you love the mixed display with different scales and you love the way that you put that together, that is all that matters. But poster style display, leading the eye up, I think that's the absolute best way of doing it. If you want to ignore me, though, absolutely.
Do what you want. No collection, please, like Linda said.
No collection, please. So we are now moving on to the end of the stream, or at the end, we've gone a little bit over time. Will, I'm so sorry, but next time we won't, because we won't have as much news. It'll be a little bit tighter, the layout.
I had a blast, bro. So thank you for having me. It's all good.
It's been fun. Now that we're back, we're doing the streaming. So this is the super chat time. So any of the super chats, I'm literally scrolling up right now. I'm about to find all the super chats that we didn't go through. I'm going to go through them right now. So any new super chats that come in, this is the time. We'll be going through questions, ask me anything. Also, don't forget, please pop your topics in for the next headline topics for next week. You need to pop them in the chat right now, and that way Will and I will go through and pick the favorite topics. I haven't decided if it's going to be a weekly show or bi-weekly or monthly or whatever, so also let us know the frequency. How often do you want to see Will, myself, Lael, if he wants to come on? How often do you want to see us? Or not at all? Get out of here. Just never. Anyway, super chat time. All right. So Sator says, did you see the app FigZ? Everyone should try it. I have heard about this. Basically, it's a collection tracking app, and they have a lot of stuff in their catalog. Hot toys, even third party. There are a couple of collection tracking apps now. I've used one in the past, but it didn't have the same amount of figures in that back catalog as FigZ does. I haven't tried this one yet, because that other one that I used, I set up my account and then I got a notification from Apple that my password was leaked in a data breach from that app. So I'm a little bit wary now. I know it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same app. I know it's a different app, but still, I was like, hey, the password. I don't know. Look at the password. I have seen it. Will, have you seen FigZ?
I have seen it, yes. There was another app, Justin, the one you're referring to, that I used originally, and I used it. I thought it was pretty cool, actually. Now, honestly, bro, and it was really cool because it had pictures, and you could drag the figures and stuff and put them in, a bunch of different stuff and mark your display and collection and catalog it. For me, I just use a Google Sheets document. I just use that, and maybe I'll use this FigZ app. I think it was pretty cool. I haven't used it yet, but I saw pictures people were sharing, and I was like, that's actually pretty cool. I like the idea. I think it mostly had hot toys, though, and people were like, oh, it needs to have like more in art and ThreeZero and everything else, right? So I'm assuming they'll add those over time. So I think that's great. Give collectors more options to, document their collection.
Yeah, I think they can always add. Hopefully they do add and they keep the development going, because I would love to see a full I want one place that gives you, like the Funko app, how you can track your collection. It gives you a score.
Right.
And you can track and you can compare, not necessarily compete, because I don't really love competing with collecting. As long as you're happy with the collection, you're number one. That's all that matters. Yep. But I love that whole it brings the community together, gets people talking. Maybe even if they want to include some sort of community interaction thing, I'd love to jump on. So hopefully that keeps rolling. FigZ, I'll give it a try. I'm sorry I haven't already, but I will. Judge of Truth with 200 yen super chat. Thank you so much, Judge of Truth. There's saw you at Flankster117. Yes, Flankster, I might do a follow-up video to this, actually. It's something similar. He did a video that was kind of controversial that said, why hot toys suck. And I watched that video, and there are a couple of things in there that kind of, I shouldn't. And Steph was like, don't say anything. I was like, okay, say just a little bit. So, we had a little back and forth, friendly, of course. But then I didn't know he was planning on doing this, but he did a follow-up saying why hot toys are great and why statues suck. So he did a vice versa type of situation. I don't know if that was like a follow-up from that first video, like an afterthought sort of thing, or if he'd always planned it. But anyway, it was interesting. It definitely got the conversation going, that's for sure. That comment section. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't, people weren't trashing anyone. It was a good, lively debate. And I like that. I like being able to talk about this stuff with people because, everyday lives, we don't get to. Let's be honest. How often do you, go up to a coworker and you're like, so, that 1/6 scale Ant-Man, though, and they're like,
yeah, right. They're like, oh yeah, I've seen it. But I watched that video too, Justin. It was very effective because it got people's attention. So it was,
people talking,
so it got the conversation started. But then when the second video came out, like you said, I was confused. I was like, am I in the Twilight Zone? I was like, what's happening here? It was funny, but I actually like Flankster's video, so it was entertaining. I enjoyed it.
I do say that he has a very community vibe. You can sit down. He takes you through his collection, and he's a big freaking collection.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
there's a lot of statues.
I would feel stressed.
Yes, I did see it.
Yeah, I feel stressed. I would be like, that's too much. I can't handle it. It's too much.
It's too much. Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
But I will maybe make something like that. Be fun. Maybe it could be a headline topic if you're interested. has sent in a super sticker. Is going to Star Wars Celebration in London, and so am I, and so is Lael,
Nice.
and so is my wife Steph. So we're all going. I'm pretty sure Latoya is going to be there too. We'll catch up for sure. And Dean is in London. Dean Knight. You know, if we can do a little collector catch up, International Collectors Lounge, like Lael has, that'd be fun. Maybe.
I should have gone, dude. I should have gone.
Well, London is so expensive.
Okay, never mind. I'm good. I'll stay here.
I was talking to Steph. I was like, damn, it's such an expensive trip. That's like 10,000 statues. No, it's not that many statues. But still, it's a lot of statues.
It's a lot of NRDs, bro. It's a lot of NRDs.
It's a lot of inarts. So,
yeah, right. A lot of inarts. Exactly.
I've never been to Star Wars Celebration though, and I've got a childhood friend that lives in London. He came to our wedding, and I've known him since I was a young tot. So I get to go see him, go see Dean Knight. Lael's going to be there, Latoya's going to be there. So there's a lot of reasons to go. And Steph really likes London. So we're excited. Nice. I don't mean to complain. Sator follows up on his other super chat. Thank you so much, Sator, for 2 super chats. Super generous. Says, again, FigZ app helps you organize your collection and your niche. Cool. You've already sold me on it. After this, I'm going to download it. I'm going to try it out. See if I can. It's a bit of a challenge, though, because a lot to add into the app. A lot to go through and add in. It's going to take me a while.
It's going to take
me a hot minute. It's going to take me a minute.
Literally Carlos, a hot minute. Yep.
Maybe a few. A few hot minutes.
Who's counting?
Carlos has a place for collecting. Carlos, thank you so much for the super chat. Can you flex for us? I'm convinced your arms are bigger than Will's. I don't want to.
I don't think it's going to happen.
See, my shirt's baggy. I'll do it. You can't see it. There you go.
See?
It's not that big. Damn,
mine, I've tattooed though. So yeah, so
he's seamless.
Yeah, I'm seamless. I'm seamless. Seamless forearm, seamless full arm.
I can't believe he just made me do that on camera.
Yeah.
Peachy Patty Joe says, the $20 super chat. That's so generous, Peachy. Thank you so much. How do I determine where to order third-party stuff like premium toys? So you've talked about today. How do I find when these items will be released? I don't want to spend the money and wait years for the actual items. Well, these are multi-tiered question. Where to order? There are many different stores you can go to. 1/6 Kit, 1/6 Outfitters, KG Hobby, Comic Sanctorum, eBay, AliExpress, Carousel. There are so many. Yeah, you can go really down. Mercari. I don't know if that.
Mercari. AliExpress, I would be careful with because you might get You might get Wish version. You might get.
You might get something.
You might not
be what you wanted.
Yeah, right.
Or if you want to do in person and you don't want to do the waiting game and drop the money early, and you're in America, Frank & Sons. I went to Frank & Sons recently, and there are a couple of stores that sell a lot of third party. And that way you can go, you can see them in person, make sure the quality is good, and then drop the money. And you won't have to wait years because they'll already be there. That, though, is only really specific to people in California, I guess. So I don't know if that helped you. Online, there are many different places that you can order from, but unfortunately, they will probably all have that issue with the waiting years. Yep. Because depending on the company, it can either be 5-6 months or 5-6 years. It's hopefully not going to be that long. But you will have to put a pre-order in, and then you'll have to wait. Usually they will, if it's a company like SooSoo, they've got a group. So they will tell you sometimes. People ask questions, hey, when's this happening? Okay, it's coming this month, that month, whatever. So I guess follow the groups if those companies are big enough. If not, you'll just have to wait for the company that you've ordered from to email you saying, hey, this is coming in. This is when it's coming. This is the final price. And that way you'll be up to date. Hopefully, Peachy, that has helped. Will, do you have any more advice for Peachy before we move on to the next super chat?
Yeah, I would say that with these figures, third party or otherwise, expect to wait in general multiple years. Yes. You're probably going to so if this is maybe, even if it's not, if it's the first time you're collecting third party or otherwise, I would prepare to wait at least probably a year. That's what I would say probably for most figures. For Hot Toys, for sure, you're waiting a year and a half probably at least. But for these third party stuff, it really just varies. But for a lot of the higher quality third party stuff, they take a while. So it's probably going to take a year and a half or 2 years, I would say. So Prepared for the waiting game. I like 1/6 Kit. I really love them. 1/6 Outfitters, Justin mentioned. There's a KG Hobby. There's a lot of good places. I wouldn't use AliExpress personally. I've never bought from them, but they make me super nervous because some of the shit that people get sent to them from them, it's just like not at all what they. It's just like it's the most. Yeah, I would not mess with them personally, but there are plenty of places that you can buy from. I know Kit doesn't sell SooSoo, but Giant Toy is also really good. Giant Toy is good.
TNS figures
TNS
also actually.
Yeah, TNS. They're good. So there's a lot of places you can get them. There's like in the States too, there's IKEA Hobbies, there's Time Walker Toys.
Yes.
There's a lot of places you can get
Monkey Depot.
Yep.
There's a lot. By the way, I don't think I've said this yet, but Charlie Unicorn says, hashtag ask Justin, bring on Ryan Kirkwood as special guest when a Hot Toys drops in Hong Kong. No need, because in March 3rd, I'm flying to Hong Kong. So I'm going, it's booked, hotels paid for, everything. I'm going to Hong Kong. I'm going to do videos on figure shopping. Ryan's going to be there, so Ryan's going to be making videos with me. We're going to go to Secret Base, Rebel Base, Echo Base, all the bases. How many bases they have now, I don't know. We're going to be filming. We'll do tours. We'll show you. In Hong Kong, there are things that you can never even imagine for shopping for figures. There are weird, wacky stores that have walls of head sculpts, bodies hanging from the ceiling, 1/6 scale, not real bodies. 1/6 scale bodies hanging from the ceiling, so you can just go in and pick this outfit, this body, this head sculpt. It's incredible. The amount of variety that there is in Hong Kong. So I'm really, really excited to get over there. It's been a very long time. It's overdue. So I haven't announced that officially yet, but it's happening March 3rd. I am flying to Hong Kong. Expect content. We're over there. Expect content. Collector Joey with a super chat. No question, just hi. Hi, Collector Joey. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's nice. That's real nice of you, Joey.
Joey's a great dude. He's super cool. Yeah.
He's followed up. No, he hasn't followed up. If you do have any questions, though, Joey, you don't have to send another super chat in. I will answer your question because you've already sent one.
We'll honor the question.
If you have any questions, now's the time. If anyone has any more questions, now's the time. We're still in the Q&A segment. We'll be wrapping up soon. Bob Dylan says, all your bases belong to us.
Basically.
Yes. I will put them out in the public space. I will film all the bases, and then they will belong to all of you. Although,
I didn't realize that. I said basically. Basically. Yep. It's even in that too. So all the bases.
There you go. Oh my God. Well, they kind of get mad when you film there. So I'm going to ask them. Yeah. Last time they told me off. They're like, don't you film? Don't you film?
Why? Why do they care?
I don't know. It's weird. The photos are okay, but not videos. So I don't know why that's a thing. I will go and ask them. And I'm happy to wait until like it's quiet in the store. Maybe it's because they don't want other people on camera like without the consent. I'm happy to wait until it's like quiet time in the store. Come in and film. I don't know. I'm going to try my best to get as much footage as I can. If it has to be pictures, it has to be pictures. It's not ideal. I will voice over. Or Ryan and I, if we're there live, it'll be awesome to do it live. But if we can't, then still, we will have content. We will have content. Don't worry. Are you JOSHINME ? With a super sticker. Thank you so much for the super sticker. But if you have any questions, feel free to post in the chat. Collector Joey says, I just wanted to say hello, Teehee. No worries, Collector Joey.
I love that you put Teehee, by the way.
I love the Teehee.
Yeah, right. You don't see that much.
You don't see that much. Riley has a question. Riley. I love Riley. Riley, we spent some time together in Las Vegas. We went out for a nice steak dinner. It was fun. We had tour around Las Vegas. I'd never been to Las Vegas before. I didn't know, what I was doing. So Riley was there. It was fun.
He's a criminal, though, Justin. You should know that.
He did sneak in.
He is in fact a criminal. So
see, this is what happened. I was there setting up with Jason, CEO of Queen Studios. Johnny was there. A couple of people from Deruv's store in France were there, and Secret Compass, the head guy at Secret Compass, I forget his name. I think it's Todd, maybe. I don't know. He was there as well. We've been setting up for hours. We went for lunch. And when we left the convention area upstairs for lunch to go downstairs to the second level, I guess that's when Riley snuck in. Nobody was there. He said nobody was there. So we'd gone for lunch. And then Riley, sneaky devil, he went up. He snuck in.
That was hilarious, bro. And his mom took a picture of him. I'll take a picture of him like committing a crime. Yeah.
Sneaky little devil's proof. It's evidence.
Riley's
You need to
hilarious.
destroy
He's
that
such a
picture,
good dude.
Riley.
Yeah. He loves the
He
Batman
says-
a little too much though, Justin. Like the new Batman film. Like
Ooh,
he said it's
I don't
better
know
than The
if he
Dark
can.
Knight. And I got it, it's
Riley, I agree. It is.
what?
better.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Justin, no, you don't. You don't. You're trolling me right now. You don't believe that.
Am I? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're serious, but
You'll never know.
my night is
but
ruined.
seriously, the Batmobile. Of course, I'm going to get that Batmobile. But the question is, dirty one or the clean one? Because there's two different versions. There's a weathered one and it's a clean version. I'm leaning towards weathered because in the film it was driving around the streets chasing Colin Farrell's Penguin in his Maserati Ghibli. It's getting a little bit dirty, smashing into things, big concrete freaking cylinder things. So I'm leaning towards the dirty one. But again, I turn it over to you in the chat. It's all based on what you guys want to see. So if you all want to see me review the filthy one, I will do that. If you all want to see me review the clean one, I will do that too.
And I think InArt's going to make it too, Justin, right?
I think they're planning on making it. Hot Toys teased it. Oh my god!
Right.
Can you imagine if there's 3 Batmobiles? And
I know. Options.
I make it sound like a chore, but reviewing vehicles is a completely different ball game to reviewing 1/6 scale figures. It's a real challenge. And I will be. Someone asked earlier if I'm reviewing the '89 Batwing. Yes, I am. And I think that's going to be my biggest challenge creatively ever. The different angles, and I don't know how I'm going to film. Usually I can picture, okay, the car, I'm going to film it this way, I'm going to get this angle, but I've never reviewed anything like that before. But I'm excited to give it a go. I like the challenge. I like doing something different.
Sounds
so
great.
We'll see. We will see. And yes, I will be reviewing that Batmobile, Riley. He says, the lady at the front said I can come in. I was an innocent victim. Because we were still, it's called bump in. We were still setting up. So they probably thought that Riley, because he's professional, he had his shirt on with the logo, probably thought that he was part of the setup crew. Like, yeah.
And Riley just snuck right in.
he just walked.
He's hilarious.
Right on in. And Vegas was a blast, Riley says, and he's leaning towards the weathered version as well. So I'm leaning towards the weathered one. But Carlos says clean version for him. Joey has followed up with his question. He says, he does have a question. What is the biggest insect? Oh my God, Joey. Technically, it's an arachnid, so it doesn't count. But spider.
Oh, dude.
The other night, the blind was up, and Steph was like, "Oh my God!" And she pointed at the window, and I looked over. No joke, there was a spider the size of my face on the outside of the window, and I was like, "What the?" I don't want to swear on camera, but it was absolutely enormous. One of the biggest spiders I've ever seen, and the lights were off because we were going to bed, and I turned the lights on, and it was gone. I was like, "Oh, where'd he go?" Oh my God, it freaked me out. He's still out there on my house somewhere. I don't know where he's going to jump on me at any time. I don't know. But yes, that was to date the biggest insect I've ever seen. But there's also deadly little insects. We have these spiders called redback spiders, and it's like it sounds. There's a big red stripe on their back, and it's real bright red. They're super venomous. If you get bitten by one, chances are you're not going to make it unless you get to the hospital in time. I've seen 3 of them in my backyard. 3 redbacks. It's crazy. So even though they're not big,
I'm never going to Australia. You've just confirmed it. I'll hang out with you.
I'll
Come to
you
the
will.
States. Yeah, right.
I'll kill the redbacks for you. Don't worry,
dude. Could you imagine though if I got there and like I was at your house and I was like, "Oh, first night, there it is, a giant ass spider on the window." I'm like, I fucking knew it. I shouldn't have come here. No way,
says,
bro.
Yeah, checking Australia off my list. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, no problem. I've turned a lot of people off Australia just now. I think.
Yeah, no way.
I've turned a lot of people. They had bird-eating spiders. Charlie says, yes, they do. They have spiders that eat birds. It's nasty.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Sounds like Amazon over there, bro. It's like you
don't see them very often. Not in the city, at least. Although we're pretty built up and they still get the redbacks. I don't know. Just stay away from the spiders. You'll be right. Dude. Charlie says, use a drone to film the car. Well, the issue is it's not that big. It's not that big. So the drone might be a little bit overkill. I've always wondered... If I get a mini drone, like one of those, like a DJI Nemo, I think it's called, the little mini one, and we take it to like a convention, I would love to get a shot of it just flying over the head of like San Diego Comic-Con and seeing huge crowds. But I don't know if they would like shoot it down or something, like, or like
They
you know,
might,
capture it
dude.
with a net.
What
They
if the
might.
battery just died too, and it was like just falls right in the crowd? It's like that would be amazing.
It's a risk, but I would love to get that shot just because you don't get a feeling for how crazy that convention is until you see this huge swarm. It's insane, and going from one end of the other of the convention, but there might be a lot of interference for the drone remote because you know there's a lot of people there. So
that would be hilarious, though. Like I couldn't imagine what they would do. They'd be like, "What is that?" Everyone would just be so confused. Yeah. It'd be like Fast and the Furious. It would just roll by. It would just be like, dude, couldn't imagine. Super fast.
It would. Dylan Hicks says, Justin, I hope you're having a good day. I'm having a great day. Thank you, Dylan, especially chatting to Will, chatting to all of you. It's fun. When are you planning on doing a room tour? Your last one was a while ago and only 30 minutes. We need an hour long. Okay, that's some good feedback. So I tried to condense it as much as possible because there is so much to go through. It's really hard to film module cases, I've found. And especially the number of module cases I have. I don't want to go handheld because some people said they get motion sick constantly moving the camera around. So I was wary of that. But then some people don't like me using the slider because then they said it just looks like I've taken a picture and panned across the picture. But I promise I haven't. The camera's actually moving. It's just physically sliding. I don't know the format that I want to do. And I don't know the length of the video yet. And I don't know when I'm going to do it yet. I'm probably more likely to do the statue room first because there's less statues. It's far easier to film. This is a real challenge. My friend Sofa Slam Collections, his name is. He's on YouTube. He lives locally. He helped me with the last one. We did it together. It was a collab, if you will. Maybe he'll help me again, and we can get it a little bit longer if you wanted to see more. But what necessarily, just other than the length, did you find that there wasn't enough, or that I didn't spend long enough on each display, or what was there anything lacking? Because I kind of felt like I covered everything. And if you want to see more on each individual figure, you can just watch the review. So I kind of felt like I did it. Rex and Around is here. Rex and Around, this has been such a cool live stream. Thank you for doing this, guys. Would love more stuff like this. This format, I'm really happy with this format. I promised Will it would be an hour, and it's now 2. But next time it won't be so long, Will, I promise.
It was the news, bro. And I talked too long. That's what it is.
No, it's fine. I really enjoyed this format for the live stream, and I think we're going to stick with it. Y'all will have to let me know, and people who watch this stream after can let us know if this was a good format. It worked for you. We will be taking the 2 main topics and clipping them out. I've asked Will; he's given me permission to do that. I'll be clipping them out. So just the 2 main topics will be their own videos, and I think they're going to make great standalone videos. And that's what I want for the next ones as well. Really important topics that people want to hear our takes on, and that is what I plan to do. So we're at the end of the stream. Any burning questions, any final super chats? Now's your time. We're wrapping up. Will, I do want to say a huge thank you to you for coming on, chatting to me about that crazy amount of news that we had at the start. That was a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Yeah. It was, Justin. It was a lot of figures that I knew nothing about, so I did my best. But I think there were some pretty cool ones, and you broadened my horizons tonight, dude. You showed me a zombie Superman, and you showed me a Jack Nicholson Joker that I had seen a little bit, but that one's a little bit better. And you showed me what was the candy girl, the girl, the candy spider, candy spider. So that's something like that. And then there was what was the other one? The Chainsaw Man. He was pretty cool.
Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man. He was pretty good. So yeah, dude, I gotta watch that now. If you recommend it, I'll watch it.
You'll watch it. You'll like it. You will like it. It's very dark. The episodes are pretty short too. It's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And this first season is finished. First season is done. Although there is an after credits on the last episode. Make sure you stick around for that after credits because it's kind of a teaser for the next, little teaser. But you could probably get through that in a day. Wouldn't take you much longer than that, to be honest. And I think you'd be stuck in. See, I was having to wait weekly. I was having to wait for the episodes. I hate that. I really hate that.
Yeah, right.
But Will doesn't have to do that.
No.
A couple of final questions have come in. Christopher has said, Justin, when are you going to do unboxing of Stranger Things? Dustin, very soon. I've slowly been working through my backlog. I'm getting to that and the GTA 5 figures. The trouble that I have now is there's 3 GTA 5 figures. So making a video with 3 figures it's a beast of a video. It's an absolute monster video. So it can either do 3 individual figures like Dustin, the Batman for a Two-Face, and the President Toys Marty, or I can do 1 video with 3 figures in it, and that's the GTA. So that's what I'm kind of struggling with at this very moment.
That's a tough one.
Well, here's a tough one. I'll work on it. Final reminder, please pop in your headline topics in the chat so that we can use those headline topics as topics for the next live stream. And thank you, everyone, for welcoming me back to the streaming world. It's been a while, but there's no reason why I can't do streams more often. It's a great way of chatting to y'all, and it's spend time with Will. We get to talk about figures. Like I said, in our everyday lives, we don't get to do this stuff. I don't have someone that I can go and, hey, you know, that 1/6 scale figure. But with y'all and with Will and with everyone else, absolutely can. So thank you to every single one of you. And Will, check out Will's channel, at Will Foxification. It's the little handle down below. You don't have to check out me because you're already here.
You're already here. You've already checked me out. So there you go.
Well, they did when Carlos made me flex earlier, so you know.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, and honestly, the chat was actually in your favor. They said that you were stronger than me.
Really?
So I guess we're gonna have to test it when we meet in person, bro. We're gonna have to test it.
We'll arm wrestle. No, we won't do arm wrestle. We'll lift 3rd scale statues, and we'll see how many 3rd scale statues.
Dude, Justin, I know you got experience, bro, but this Sauron, he's quarter scale, but he weighs like 75, 80 pounds. So I've lifted him upstairs. So I'm pretty experienced at this point. Lifting statues. So, yeah.
See, it's not just a test of strength. It's a test of, you know, because they're awkward shape.
Balance.
You gotta get around balance. It's endurance. It's everything. So that's the test.
I mean, you don't even need a workout plan. You just need to lift statues. That's really all you need. Like, I mean, that's why Flankster's so jacked, honestly, because he lifts all those statues.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's lifting that Optimus Prime. He's lifting Shockwave. Well, we'll leave you at that. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay tuned. There will be another live stream. Whether it's weekly or fortnightly, Will and I will discuss and we'll work it out. But this was so much fun. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.